We live. Here we go. We're on. Gonna have to flip my screen a second. So I have to add. I want to call him a guest. I can't call him a guest. I have to add my co-host. I gotta get Noah Abrahams in this chat. He's joined already. Get in here then, son. How do we get you in? I can only wave at you. Request to join Noah, and then I think I can chuck you in, my mate. If that works. There we go. You should be able to. Oh yeah, just accept that.
Going live on the gram. Here he is.
Right.
Happy Saturday night.
It is our own special Saturday night, mate.
What's a Saturday night?
I can't wait for it. Right. Is it going to be okay if I have my... I don't want to be on different angles, you know what I mean?
What if I go like this?
You alright there? You alright like that?
I'm good. You good?
Yeah, mate. I am.
Unreal. What's in the background? What are you turning down on the TV?
I've actually just turned the channel off.
What, the boxing off? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not just a technophobe on lives, mate. I'm the same on TVs as well.
And this is how he works, ladies and gentlemen, every single day. It's just always got a remote in his hand of some sort.
Here we go. We're back on. They're running the VT now, so here we go. Okay.
On VT. How are you? What's new?
Good, mate. I'm good.
I mean,
should we do some honors? Should we do some introductory stuff, or
let's. Your football team won today, and mine didn't. So we'll start with you.
Okay.
So,
but first, all right. So, just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's joining right now, if you're seeing this live or you're seeing this when we put it on YouTube, thanks for having us. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. It is a landmark type of occasion for the Middlemen because, mate, it's been just under 3 years since the last time we went live on Instagram together on these accounts, huh?
So our last live stream was lockdown.
Yeah.
Because I remember being in lockdown, we did the clap for the NHS every Thursday, and I remember trying to finish the live stream so we could go and clap our NHS. The memory's flooding back from that.
Well, no, some throwbacks.
Unbelievable. So it's been a long time, and a lot's changed. I mean, we've been to uni, graduated from uni.
Man, it's crazy. And that was the end of our first year when we last done it, and that puts it into perspective for real.
Seriously, I don't know where time goes. I genuinely don't know where it goes.
Flies by, doesn't it, mate? Absolutely flies by.
Really does.
But yeah, no. Thanks everyone for joining. As I said, it's a new stage of the Middlemen. We're basically rundown of tonight. The itinerary for tonight is we've both got the boxing in the background, and we're just doing a live watch along. You know, Joe Rogan type of style when he would do the MMA shows, have people on in the studio just watching some fighting together, man. There's nothing quite like it.
That's it. So we're going to watch some fights. The Dance with the Devil is tonight's big headline event.
Is that what the bill name is? Yeah.
The Dance with the Devil. I'm calling it. I think it's the underdog versus the unorthodox. That's what I'm going to go with. But
I like that.
Dance with the Devil. We're into the Wolf Pit. This is going to be a firefight tonight. I mean, we are talking. This could well top the Michael Conlan fight. Leigh Wood, in case you don't know what we're talking about, in action this evening, WBA featherweight title in Nottingham, the Motorpoint Arena, and we're going to watch it. We're going to watch along.
That's what we're going to do.
We're going to watch along.
Can't wait. You know, such a new kind of aspect in terms of content for us. New style, but it's so exciting. You know, we normally do pre-recorded stuff, but live in the flesh today.
Nothing beats live in the flesh. Look at this man live in the flesh. Nothing in his Liverpool shirt. Nothing beats that. And by the way, I was just going to... Leigh Wood's fighting Mauricio Lara tonight. So he's the opponent, and he's not just any old opponent. This man is dangerous. I mean, this guy's got it going on. You think you've seen a puncher before. This guy punches heavy and he punches hard. Exactly,
mate. As we spoke about, if you guys haven't seen our last episode, go check it out. We preview this fight, and I think I clipped something for the Instagram the other day. I think it was yesterday. I've never seen myself kind of so excited for something. Went off on a tear, you know.
I'm buzzing.
It's just all action, guaranteed.
I'm buzzing, and I think Leigh Wood can do it. I'm buzzing so much. I genuinely think that Leigh Wood can do this, because I think Lara is a fringe world. I think he's on the fringe of world level. I think he's the Mudrik of boxers, right? I think he's on the fringe of just getting to that world level, but I think he can be stopped tonight, and I think it'll take time. It's not going to be an easy stoppage, and if Wood wants to do it, for me, he's going to have to be so patient.
Yeah, it's really, you know, that's why it's such a 50-50 fight, and it's so hard to look past the power of Wood, but it's also kind of the same thing with Lara. But you know, Lara was a unknown entity when he stepped in that ring with Josh Warrington the first time. And we haven't, you know, we've seen him fight opponents in the meantime, but we haven't really seen him fight another special name to kind of solidify him. So he's still kind of unknown in terms of, as you're saying, in terms of levels.
And the same though goes for Leigh Wood. He's fought Conlan and Cantu. You know, go back to 2021 or whenever it was that he fought Reece Mould for the title for the English. No one had heard of the guy. I mean, this guy's gone from leisure centres to headlining and selling out a massive Most Point arena.
And I think that's the selling point for Wood, really, and his reputation and his stock now is that he's, you know, we've as British fans, you know, most British fans have seen that rise of him, and I've even seen Matchroom promote it in that way and promote him in that way, is that, you know, look what can happen in 2 years. And he's gone on an absolute tear in 2 years and just completely threw his stock right up. But Lara has as well with the Warrington fight. But, you know, we've kind of kept closer tabs on Leigh Wood. So all I can say is this man has balls. Do you know what I mean? This man has a set.
He's gone on a complete mad one. I mean, Leigh Wood isn't scared of anyone. He's the underdog, and he enjoys being the underdog. He's not scared of this guy, Lara. And he should be. He should be, because Lara almost single-handedly ruined Josh Warrington's career. Then he came back and picked up the injury, which was unfortunate for that draw. But he is so dangerous. The way he'll get you on the inside, Mauricio Lara. That's what tonight, Leigh Wood cannot let Lara get on the inside. He's got heavy punches. He extends his hooks so that he can keep his reach. The guy is so clever, but so unorthodox. And Leigh Wood tonight has got to be sharp. If this guy switches off for a second, he's gone. Like, Lara will... You know what the difference is between Lara and someone like Warrington or Conlan? Is that every punch, I think, Lara wants to go for a knockout. Like, every single punch is like, this is the knockout punch. Whereas, you know, most, you know, an AJ or whoever else in British boxing or world boxing, they'll be patient, they'll take their time. And Lara's just like a kid in a candy shop, he just goes for it.
Bro, we call that mean intentions, you know, bad intentions behind the punches. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. He just wants to go for the kill. And that's, you know, I think I heard Josh Warrington saying that he hasn't got bad blood with Leigh Wood, but he's got bad blood with Lara, because Lara has such terrible blood with him. Lara just went for the kill with him, and there was no mercy at all. And I mean, God knows where Josh Warrington's left now, really. I mean, he wants the winner of this fight, doesn't he?
Well, did you see what Lara said in an interview the other day about Warrington?
What did he say?
He said he wants to retire Warrington after this fight.
No way.
So, and you know, Warrington and Leigh Wood a couple of weeks ago met up at the Forest ground during the Forest Woods game. And so, but Wood and Lara both are looking at Warrington, and despite his loss, you know, he's coming off a loss, and this will be the second time in his career that he fights for a world title after a loss. He did it with Kiko Martinez, fought for a world title against Kiko Martinez after I think it's the rematch with Lara, so it wasn't exactly a loss, but it was a no contest because, as you said, because of that cut, that injury, that stopped the fight prematurely. But both of those guys, both of these guys that are fighting tonight still want Warrington. And as you said, that bad blood's there between Lara and Warrington. Lara wants... I can't even say revenge because he's had the better of those two fights, but he still wants him.
If Lara wins tonight, it's going to get tasty with Warrington. Warrington, presumably, I'm guessing, is ringside, right? It's going to...
He's on punditry.
He's on punditry, no way.
Yeah, on the DAZN panel, he's on punditry tonight.
I'll be completely honest. I'm having some technical issues getting on the stream. I will get on the stream. We've got plenty of time until the fight.
Yeah.
But, you know, I can't see at the moment that man, Josh Warrington, although... I think, like I said, it'll get tasty.
Yeah.
But I mean, Josh wants the winner of this one, and then he wants Louis Alberta, doesn't he? Louis Alberta Lupe. So
Yeah.
that's the
I
natural
think
cause.
what I can see coming tonight is them putting Warrington in the ring
Yeah.
after whoever wins. They'll get Warrington in there. And do you know what, right? I think that brings up some ethical kind of issues with boxing.
Go on.
It feels a bit wrong to put, and you know, they're not going into a fight, but after a main event, they did this in Serrano's last fight, put in their like future opponent in the mix.
Oh,
Jones versus Garn prediction. Okay, right. I also forgot, right, that we can have comments on the side.
I know.
Because we're flipped this way.
Yeah, no, seriously, throw comments out. Throw comments out. It's Jones
I'm going to have to
versus
just grab the tripod and go, huh? What did you say?
I know. You got fully, look, just turn your head for these.
No, do you know your UFC?
No.
Okay, so...
it's going to have to be your question, you.
Shout out to, I assume that's John with the X for the O.
Yeah.
John asking for John Jones versus Cyril Garn prediction. Am I gonna have to take it away? Am I?
This is yours. This is your stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you got a football question, I'll take it. This is yours.
Yeah. Whichever one suits you. If there's another question that comes in, you can do the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, like we're open to any questions of any sports.
Anything.
If it's going to be like F1 or you know, something different, we can fill in for each other. No one knows more about
We'll give it a go.
like, F1.
We'll give it a go. We're not going to shy away.
I know a bit more about UFC, but bring up some Aussie rules rugby and we'll try and say something about it. Do you know what I mean? Throw anything our way.
Bring us some Bucks fixtures. This man loves the Bucks.
Pick up the Bucks, man. Come on.
Up the Bucks.
Love it. So I'm going to take this one with John Jones versus Cyril Garn prediction. This is obviously a huge fight for the UFC heavyweight strap. It's so funny because before I jumped on live, I would never think that we'd be touching on UFC or MMA.
There you go.
But this is a huge fight. You know, a couple of months ago, I mean, even a few weeks ago, Francis Ngannou was the world heavyweight title holder. Ever since he's touched that strap, he's had contractual, just legal problems with the UFC. They haven't been meeting his demands. And since his contract ran out, Ngannou said, UFC aren't giving me what they want. I'm vacating my title. I'm leaving the company. That's what he's done. And now the vacant title is on the line for this Jones versus Garn fight. And it's an incredible fight. A lot of people I don't want to come across as a hater with this take, but a lot of people, you know, call John Jones a pound-for-pound number one. This man has a crazy history in the UFC. He's the youngest ever champion. I think that's changed with Brandon Moreno winning now at bantamweight. But he was. He should be undefeated, but a few years ago he landed a 12-6 elbow, which is illegal. He got disqualified, but that's the only type of loss he's faced in his UFC career. Other than that, he's undefeated. He is the man. And even though he's had a 3-year layoff or however long of a layoff, hello, Liv, he is still the man, still a massive fan base. Everyone still loves him. And he's fighting Cyril Garn, who I think he's had a fight since the Ngannou fight, but recently, or like a year or two ago, fought Francis Ngannou for the title. Came up short in that fight. He didn't expect Ngannou to wrestle like he did. He got out-wrestled, lost the fight. But he gets another shot, a second shot at the UFC heavyweight title. If I'm just going to pull a short, just put a long story short for John here, I see Jones winning, but not comfortably. A lot of people are pretty nostalgic and are pretty hung up on Jones's old form. But if you look at his recent fights, he's been very inactive, and the last few fights that he's had, man, it's not looked like Jones of the old, and he's looked very uncomfortable. He's not looked very uncomfortable in there. He's still won and cruised to points decisions, but he's not looked savage in there. And I think Garn is going to expose that a little bit more. It's going to be a tough fight for him, but I think despite the layoff, despite Jones coming from light heavyweight to heavyweight, putting on those pounds, I still think he's going to squeeze it by.
Agree. There you go. He agrees there.
Guys in strange type. Yeah. That is the deciding factor at the end of the day, John. I think watching Garn be out-wrestled in the Ngannou fight, you know, we know how much of a complete fighter that John Jones is. He has everything in his repertoire. Striking, grappling,
wrestling, he can do everything. And apart from striking, I think he can do everything on a higher level than Garn can. But, you know, if he gets hit with some shots, you know, as
I think this is the same as tonight. I think this is the same as Lara. I think Lara is on every level better than Leigh Wood. But I think Leigh Wood's hungrier, and I think he's way more intelligent.
Yeah, there's just something else that might be a deciding factor.
I think Wood's hungrier. I think he's more intelligent, and I think he's going to box clever, and he's going to play I think he's going to play the long game tonight. I think tonight, whoever gets off to the quickest start wins. The best start wins, which isn't always the case. But I mean, you look at the Michael Conlan fight. Obviously, that's not the case in boxing, and especially with Leigh Wood. But I think it's whoever starts best tonight.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And the thing is, like, we've seen Leigh Wood's opponents start off faster than him in the past. You know, got knocked down round 1 of the Conlan fight. But everyone's talking about deep waters in this fight as well. And I think Lara has something to prove, especially because it's in, you know, you can't get more backyard than this fight for Leigh Wood. It is in Nottingham.
Yeah,
we saw it in the Conlan
it's the
fight.
occasion. You can't. Then you've got. It's like what football managers say. You've got to play the game, not the occasion. Like,
yeah, the venue goes crazy for Leigh Wood anyway. In Nottingham.
It will. But he can't. He cannot let that get in his head tonight. I think he's the underdog, but he's under more pressure. Like, okay, this is his home city. He's the underdog in terms of boxing fans. Like, if you're just watching this as a neutral, you look at Leigh Wood as the underdog. But I think he's under so much pressure being in Nottingham. Seriously, like you said, he was at the City. The next fight for him could be at the City Ground, or if he loses tonight, then who knows? Like, there's loads. The future for him all goes down to tonight.
Yeah, no, definitely, and you know, I think he's creeping into his 30s now, Leigh. I'm not sure on Lara's age, but these are the type of career-defining fights, you know, and especially, to be fair, I applauded it on Twitter yesterday. Like, the build-up for this has been insane. They've promoted it, you know, as much as they should have, as much as this fight deserves. They've promoted it, you know, as much as possible, which, as I said, is exactly what it deserves. But I think that's going to add to the nerves and the pressure, and both of these guys are going to feel like, you know, I've got something to prove in this fight. But that's going to play a part in the early rounds where they need to land those big shots early. I think Lara is just going to fly out the door, and he might even catch Wood, like in the Conlan fight last year. But as long as Wood settles down, he takes a punch, he understands the power, because he took that power from Conlan last time, and he managed to adjust to that. So if he can do the same, then surely he's got to be on to winning ways tonight.
That fight against Conlan was incredible. From the first round knockout to the 6th round where Conlan was on the ropes, to the final round, which won knockout of the year, didn't it? He knocks him out the ring. If we see something like that tonight, what fight? It's just, you've just got 2 incredible fights, really. And I'd love to be sort of 2 hours ahead right now. I'm so excited for this fight. I want to look back on it already.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I am. Because the last Leigh Wood fight got fight of the year.
Yeah, exactly. And mate, we will be looking back on it, because we will definitely be reviewing it in our next episode of the podcast. Yeah. Obviously, you know, this counts as a next episode, but, you know, within a week, we'll be looking at it and be saying, wow, this is crazy what happened. But, you know, how great for us to both be a part of the moment as it's happening.
So we can bring you, I'll tell you what, let's bring you an update on where we are now.
Yeah.
Because
we've
just had a stoppage in the Gary Carly versus Wilfredo Flores fight for the vacant WBA lightweight intercontinental title. Max, go on, tell us what's going on.
Gary Cully is just starched, dude, within 2 rounds. And honestly, I've had a long day. I'm quite a tired guy. I can't wait for the boxing, but the broadcast, they like to drag out the broadcast a lot. So, Gary Cully, sorry. You are the man for speeding things up.
My hair a lot. Last night, I think at Moo-Moo's until about 3 or 4. It's been a long one. Sports bar today for Arsenal United, Arsenal Villa, and then Derby Charlton. So it's just been like mental. It's been from bars and nightclubs to pubs and football. So it's been a long sort of a day off today because commentating tomorrow. So it's been a long weekend. So Gary Cully, my absolute hero. Like, this man has just brought our Leigh Wood fight a lot closer. And next up is Dalton Smith. How did I completely missed the Clark Israel Duffus fight. Has that happened already?
Yeah. So I didn't actually see the outcome of this one. I would check on BoxRec, but I'm on my phone. I don't really have any other device to find out. I think Clark went the distance because as I tuned in, Costello said that he had half an hour of work there. So I think Clark did go the distance. That'll be the first time in his career. But if he did go the distance, that is very impressive for Shavon Clark, because I don't think he's gone past the 4th round in his career. So then to go to 10 within about, I think he's had about 6 to 8 fights, isn't he? To go that long, that early in your career, you know, albeit he was an amateur fighter, but amateurs go 3 rounds for 3 minutes, you know. They don't, like half an hour of action's a lot.
So there you go. So he went past 4 rounds for the first time as a pro, like you were saying. This guy, let's talk about this guy, Israel. I think, is it Duffus? Honestly, I never really heard. All I know is he's from Panama. He's lost his last 2 fights, and he's a cruiserweight boxer who honestly, a bit of a journeyman, but fair play to him, because he stepped in last minute, because Dex Spellman, who a lot of us know as the former English light heavyweight champion, failed a brain scan, which means that brain injuries have forced him to retire, and that is a really sort of, I mean, on a day where brain scans are topical with Azpilicueta's injury earlier, it's something that you read, or because I was going into this fight thinking that it would be Dex Spellman tonight, sort of hadn't really kept across the Shavon Clark stuff, and I was doing a bit of research before jumping on, and I'm like, hang on a minute, well, it's not Dex Spellman. So never nice to see in boxing. On the plus side, that's why we have safety in boxing. That's why we have these measures. But what a sad sight to see.
Such a shame, mate. But you know, as you said, glad that Dex Spellman got his medical done before the fight. You know, as it should be. But glad that these things showed up before he went to war with Shavon Clark. You know, it would obviously do no favors for him going into not just a fight with Shavon Clark, with any other fighter, you know, to get in the ring again after seeing such concerning signs on the brain would be probably even more detrimental to his health. So prayers up to Dex Spellman. Hopefully, you know, he's in good health. I haven't read too much about this. I just know that he's had to pull out and retire completely with his career. So hopefully it's not, you know, crazy. Hopefully it's just crazy to his career and not, you know, his whole life and his whole being.
And often that is the way in boxing. If one's getting punched in the face and to that part of the body, then perhaps it is literally just you can't continue on that path. And so hopefully he can live normal life and be absolutely fine. And like I said, I'm really glad they checked it and they found that, and that we're not in a terrible situation where that hadn't been checked. So there you go, Gary Cully. Winning tonight was Mr. Clark, who obviously we watched in Tokyo, and who did we bump into him when we covered the qualifiers? I can't remember.
I think you must have seen him. I came in late, I believe. I came in the last day, didn't I?
I'm sure I either interviewed or watched him at the Olympic qualifiers.
Yeah, you saw him for sure, because you were there from day one. I came in the last. I walked into the back room, didn't I? Right. And they were handing out press releases saying it's the London qualifiers are cancelled.
Well, so you were watching your mate the Roos Rhino, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm sure it was March 2020. There must have been a good reason that
I think you have boxing somewhere else. I think I don't know, because it wasn't me.
No, I remember
Roos
it
Rhino?
was. Yeah, I think it was Jay's 2nd or 3rd fight. Jay Munn, Roos Rhino. If you guys don't realise who we're referencing, don't expect you to be fair, unless you're from my area. But one of the boys that I used to box with during my amateur heydays, and he's now turned professional. Fantastic boxer, light middleweight, traverses from light middleweight to middleweight now. And 3 years ago, I think it was his 3rd professional fight. I went and saw. You know, I tried to make every fight, tried to go and see him and support him as much as I could. And I was going to say, there must have been a good reason that I was away from London qualifiers.
I think that was why. I've just watched, by the way, as you were telling that story, the Gary Cully knockdown, a real combination of shots.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Jabs, hooks, rights, lefts. He had Wilfredo Flores on the ropes, and there was only going to be one winner. after that combo there. So there you go, Gary Carley winning. He becomes the WBA lightweight intercontinental champion then, with Clark. Well, Clark's fight wasn't for anything. I think the Dex Spellman fight was originally for
some English or
the
British.
the English, right? Exactly.
I don't know. I think that was me just estimating.
No, I think you're right. I think it was either that or I'm not sure what it was. I think it was that. Anyway, but Israel Duffus came in, and that was just sort of a holding placer card. So, okay, some decent boxing on display tonight so far. Looking good.
Massive, yeah.
Looking good. So I'm quite excited. I'm really excited for tonight. A little quiz question.
Okay.
Because
I've got
to say, no. This quiz question is totally stolen from TalkSport.
Okay.
How many feathers are in a pound?
How many feathers?
Tonight, the featherweight WBA clash between our boy Leigh Wood and Mauricio Lara. How many feathers are in a pound of feathers? Have a guess.
How many feathers? Like so
let's say you get a pound, right? Let's say you get a bag that weighs a pound.
Hello, DJ. I feel like I don't want to mispronounce your name, but hello.
Thanks for watching.
Appreciate you.
So a bag of feathers. It's a featherweight clash tonight. I give you a pound of feathers. How many feathers are in that bag?
A pound.
Yeah, but how many feathers how many individual feathers make up the pound?
Is there a real answer to this?
There is. I promise you there's a real answer.
There's a certain amount of feathers that make up 1 pound.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is it possible for me to get this?
I mean, no, not really, but like...
No, okay.
I mean, just like... Go on, give it a go.
Okay, I'm going to say... There's got to be a lot of feathers, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of feathers.
A lot of feathers.
It's a lot of feathers.
Are we talking thousands? Or
No. We're talking hundreds.
Hundreds? Okay,
hundreds.
Cool. I'm going to go 495.
You're so close. You're
lying.
454.
Oh,
I thought you'd be in the...
It's close, man. It's not too far away, is it?
I thought you'd be in like the 800 club. No, 454 feathers. It makes a pound of feathers. So there you go. There's a bit of absolutely useless trivia.
You guys are.
Courtesy of TalkSport. A bit of useless trivia. We've gone through a lot about this fight tonight, but realistically, how do you predict it? How do you think it's going to go? I can see Dalton Smith and Billy Allington lining up now and just warming up before they go out to defend their British super lightweight title. And we've got a little bit of time before we get to the main event tonight. But just on that main event, looking back, considering the Conlon fight, considering the Cantu fight, and then considering fights with Josh Warrington on the other side, how do you think? Can you give me an early prediction, and then we can come back to it in a little bit?
Okay. I always feel like, as you know, like especially in this podcast, I come in as the kind of from the technical side of boxing, and you can't really say boxing if you get predictions wrong. But that is also the fun of the sport.
That's the fun of boxing.
You never really know what can happen.
Carl Frampton says someone's going to get chinned tonight. I read that this week.
Yeah. It's on the cards. I would be absolutely flabbergasted if this does go the distance. 12 whole rounds.
I don't know. I think it can. I think it can. I think it has potential to go the distance if Wood can break him down. If Wood, that shirt, disgusting. Yeah.
Suck it up, my man.
It's horrible. It's fine.
This kid. No, you won't know who this is. This is Kian Tuki. He's on. I say I work with him. He's not my colleague. He's from work. He's a student, learning his craft within the industry of sport broadcasting. Very hard work. One of the hardest working guys in the class. Arsenal fan.
I watched your game today.
Because you're a Chelsea
I watched your game today, Kian, and I've got to say, when Villa scored first and then again to go ahead, I thought, this is not your day. But you were the better team. Even when you were losing, you were the better team today. And you did. Look, I left in the end. I left on the 70th minute, knowing that there'd be more goals in it, but I had to get to Derby Charlton at Pride Park. So
I thought you were going to say because you were too hungover, Noah.
Bro, don't even go there. It's been pretty treacherous. Like, went down. It was my birthday yesterday. I don't usually just go and get completely smashed.
Happy birthday to the boy. Everyone say happy birthday.
Thank you, bro. But no, so watching Arsenal this morning, we went to the sports bar. I'm like, I've got to get through Derby Charlton, and then I've got the live stream. How do I stay awake? I'm in the sports bar, I order a coffee, and the barman's like, the barman wouldn't give me a coffee. He was like, I'm not giving you a coffee. I was like, bro,
mate, because that's
I need a hit of energy like now. So in the end, he made me a black coffee and a beer with it. Oh, it's been the stomach's been doing backflips today. I had a bother.
I'll tell you what.
Let me tell you.
Black coffee, what a savage combination that's
got. Look, you have to do what you got. I've got a cream egg somewhere. I think it's just rolling underneath. That's my energy. That's my sugar
energy
tonight. Yeah. So, I mean, that was the perfect timing, King, because you completely allowed Max to dodge the question of any sort of prediction for tonight. But Kian, by the way, if you've got any questions, if there are any sports journos that are jumping on, if anyone wants to ask any questions like sports journo wise, then fire away. Max and I both did 3 years of it. I did 2 years of journalism in like sixth form college as well, and we're both in the industry now. So any questions for Max or I, production wise or print wise or whatever, then graphics wise, let us know. So there you go. You had a good 3 or 4 minutes there to think, Max.
Yeah.
If I ask you now 25 minutes or roughly 25 minutes, half an hour to the main event until that bell rings, can you give any sort of prediction at the moment? Apart from the fact that you don't think it's going to be to points.
Yeah. So I want to go. It's a head and a heart thing, isn't it? At the end of the day,
yeah. As
Brits, we're going to back Leigh Wood. We've seen this we've seen it impact. You got to root for the guy. But I'm not gonna let that sway my head. I'm just gonna back him all the way. I'm just gonna come out straight, back him all the way. Leigh Wood, TKO. I think Lara's gonna beat the count, but I think he's gonna be chicken dancing too much for the refs' liking. I'm gonna say a Leigh Wood TKO in round 10.
I'm gonna say late
how accurate that is.
That's so rare. That's so accurate. I will buy you a pint if that comes in.
And a coffee.
I agree completely. Late stoppage. I don't know. I think it's so hard to predict. I think, by the way, like you were saying with a TKO, no one can hit the canvas in this fight without losing. Like Conlan, it's never going to happen again. You're never going to get up. Conlan's not a puncher like Lara. He's just not.
No. But he still manages
You're talking to Deontay Wilder here at featherweights in terms of punching. This guy can punch hard. So if Wood goes down, that's it. Like, game over. So I agree with you. I think if it is a TKO, then it's got to be a fader of Wood, because
that is the worrying thing, isn't it? Like, Wood's defense didn't show up in that fight, and that's what made it fight of the year. And he's lucky he had that power, because that is what saw him through. Because he was getting hit and hurt, dropped. There was that was a rocky fight. Yeah. It wasn't pure dominance, but that's the reason that it was fight of the year, because it was so back and forth. But you can't, when we talk about it like that, I'm thinking, surely Lara's just got to come out.
You said head and heart, and you're right. Like, I think I was reading a Kid Galahad piece online, and he was saying exactly the same thing. His head says Lara, but his heart, and I think the man with more heart is without a doubt Leigh Wood. I mean, the guy has bags of passion, bags of absolutely everything in front of a home crowd tonight, knowing that he can get the City ground if he wins this. And just looking at my screen now, Josh Warrington's on the zone tonight. Great lineup. Josh Warrington, Tony Bellew, Laura Woods. So great lineup tonight.
The little eyebrow raise, mate. Obviously, national hero, one of the best presenters ever.
National hero, Laura Woods. Tony Bellew, national hero as well. He's got a great podcast if you get the chance to listen to it on mental health in sport and generally. And he's had some top guests. I watched the one with Paddy the Baddie, and that was really interesting.
Yeah. I do love when fighters, even of different kind of combat sports, have a platform like a podcast to kind of go into layers about them, because I finished boxing training last night, and I was getting a lift down with one of the new guys, and he was saying like, because he's been a massive fan of the sport before he's gone in. Like I think he's in his 20s and he's only just started training, and he's like, as fans we overlook so much about boxers. So that's why I think it's so great for these ex-pros to kind of have a platform. Well, even Paddy the Baddy being an active MMA fighter, they get to kind of show themselves to the public and show the things that the public, it's not really anyone's fault, but they tend to just overlook because they don't see what goes on behind the scenes.
And likewise with, David Divante's, like, I just saw him on my screen. It's like, some of the stuff he's been through in the last 6 months with his like terrible accident.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine what his mental health is like, how difficult it must have been to bounce back from being physically damaged because of the injuries they incurred from that crash he had, and to then mentally come back as well. I mean, that must be so challenging. So it's interesting. I think sportsmen are often overlooked, that they're not people that are getting paid so much money. If you're at the top level of sport, and in football, I mean, from the top tier to about League Two, you're on some good like cash only. You're on some good things. But I was listening to one of our pundits at Radio Derby, and he's the former analyst of Derby County, and he was saying like players that come over. I can't remember who we were talking about, but if you come over from another country, I mean, let's just say Wilfredo Flores, right? Or actually, no, Israel Duffus, this guy from Panama who's just come over. Imagine how daunting it is to go to a city like Nottingham, right? You've come to Panama. I'm in Derby, right? When I go from Derby to Nottingham or Derby to London to go home, like, you immediately notice the difference. You're going from a tiny little place to a big city. How daunting is that, let alone to live in a place like that? And so that's another thing. Like, you've got to get your car sorted. You've got to get your house. You've got to be able to get to training. And it's a big deal.
So many things that play into it. And, it's one thing that I mentioned as well was that, like, everyone just kind of expects fighters to be at their best come fight night. But these guys train, like, at least twice a day, and then might have a rest day within about 10 days.
I read that Leigh Wood said he doesn't feel his best. What do you think about that?
Yeah, but I think he's just being honest. People are going to say, he's making an excuse if he loses. I think every fighter goes in with a niggle. It's so rare that a fighter is completely happy with every single tendon, fiber, part of their body and feel like they are at their full capacity to go into a fight. Like, but still, fans just expect the best from a fighter, and it's just not necessarily the case,
Question for you then. I want to go back to Zach Parker. Yeah, Derby boy, born and bred, proper Rams fan. Like, around these parts where I am in the Midlands, where you and I both went to uni, a big name. Probably not a household really. He's not a household name outside of boxing, and Derby's a household name.
Yeah.
Anyway. He had the chance to fight Canelo, didn't he? It was his last fight against, I can't remember who he was fighting last time.
It was John Ryder, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Because now they're putting the John Ryder fight together with Canelo, or at least that's what they're trying to do.
Exactly, right? So John Ryder, and halfway through the fight, whenever it was, Zach Parker breaks his hand or fractures his hand so badly that he feels like he needs to stop in his corner, throws in the towel.
This is actually a great example. This is such a great example from you.
So now, my question to you is, Leigh Wood tonight, round 6, he's done pretty well. They're even on the scorecards. He's done what he's been told to do. He's been patient. He's hit Lara with body shots all night long, and we're in round 6. Leigh Wood, something happens to his hand. He fractures his hand. He breaks his hand or a knuckle or whatever. Now, my argument with Zach Parker is actually, you've got the chance to fight Canelo next. I can't say I would have gone on because I've never boxed, but I can tell you that if I were playing football in an FA Cup final and I broke a toe, I'd carry on going. So I know it's different, but what would you do if you were Leigh Wood tonight and something like that happened where it wasn't justified enough to be stopped, like the Josh Warrington fight with Lara, but what would you do? That's because I think that's a really interesting point.
It is. And I think, first of all, although you're putting a nice little comparison together, it's more than a toe for football compared to a foot or an ankle. But I know you're getting that. It's hard, and especially in the Parker incident, because everyone was quick to say that Parker quit because he just wasn't on the floor writhing in agony. But you know how you feel. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure these are thoughts that went through Parker's head.
And we've all seen it. I mean, his hand was puffed up, it was blue and black.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no way on earth that he didn't think, I've got to power through this because I've got a Canelo fight if I beat Ryder. That was probably the first thing on his mind, But you've also got to take care of your career, man. Like,
that's what Daniel Dubois did. Daniel Dubois
exactly
gets a huge slap in the eye from Joyce.
You're so on point with these examples.
No, but I'm just that Daniel Dubois, that is the worst boxing injury I think I've seen. One of the worst boxing injuries I think I've seen live.
That orbital bone, mate, is just a savage injury.
If you really read up on that fight and read up on that injury, he was very, very lucky actually to have got away when he did.
And even people called him a quitter then.
Right. Okay. Zach Parker and Daniel Dubois. I am completely in Daniel Dubois' camp. There is no way on earth I think that man could have carried on. Zach Parker's more of a dubious one in that. To be honest, he might have been in agony. Then you know what? And I know how easy this is for me to say because I'm not in the ring. I'm not. I'm just watching this fight, but carry on with the other hand. It's so hard. It is hard to say, but because I also appreciate it, but at the same time,
it's also harder to say when we've seen people like Danny Williams, who has fought with a dislocated shoulder and has used his other hand to go on to win the fight. But obviously, not everyone's the same, and that's not to say Parker's less of a warrior. It's not to discredit him. It's just to say, it's a different injury, it's a different circumstance. But you kind of look at it and you think, at least go out there for maybe a round and just see how it is. But I always...
Test the water, yeah.
And as you said, you've never boxed, so it's kind of hard to put yourself in those shoes. But at least you're trying to do what the vast majority of combat sports fans on social media don't do, and is have some empathy with the fighter,
And that's what that is where I can appreciate these guys are humans. I say it about footballers, I say it when I'm commentating or whatever. These guys are humans. I can't stand Troy Deeney, but I very much empathise and sympathise with him with the abuse he's been getting recently from his own fans. It's disgusting. Tomorrow's game I'm commentating on is Stoke away for Derby ladies, so Stoke women versus Derby women, and it's football against homophobia tomorrow. So it's like, these causes and these sort of understandings of elite athletes should absolutely be in place, and because they're humans. Yeah,
no, exactly, and it's nice it kind of puts into perspective for a lot of fans that don't kind of have that mindset, is when they touch on human activities and things like this that are prevalent in just ordinary humans world. When you see them doing that, it kind of makes you think, oh yeah, they're not just these superhuman athlete people who are just on a different level to us. Yeah, they are physically and sporting wise, but when it comes to actually just emotion and just day-to-day life, we're the same people, we're the same species at the end of the day, and
we are.
People somehow find a way to ignore that, but I think that's just a impact and an influence from social media as well.
I completely agree, but at the same time, it's sort of, that doesn't prevent criticism. Hello.
Got a fan here, Noah.
And he gets buckles. How we doing? That doesn't mean that you can't criticise an athlete. Though I agree that Anthony Joshua's taking on the fight that he's just signed. No, I don't.
Exactly. It's like a fine line between empathy and criticism. Just because you're not doing what they're doing doesn't mean you can't form a negative opinion of them. I mean, that's just daft. We're completely allowed and have the freedom to do that.
All right, that's it. I know. I was just looking at this Anthony Joshua stuff and the fight that he's just signed on to, and I just sort of wondered what you made of it. To be honest, we've got a comment. I saw you at camp. It's me.
I'll tell you what. No.
Okay. All right.
Would you mind talking to Landon for about 2 minutes? Yeah, just talking about the fight, because I've been drinking so much water, bro.
Go.
I'm gonna have to have a restroom break, okay?
Right. Max is gonna go for a little. Max is going for a little break.
slash.
a little slash. I will talk to Landon.
I'll be right back. I'll be a minute or two, okay? I won't be long. I'll be right back with you.
Nice one. Yeah, I remember you, Landon. How you doing? Landon, the main man? What's new? Landon, by the way, I did Camp America in the summer, and Landon was the absolute boy. Like, this guy was mental. Just completely ran the shop in terms of the boys on camp, and he knows he's one of my absolute favourites. So, Landon, thank you so much for reaching out. Just to recap, evening guys, Saturday night. I'm glad you're doing good, mate. Saturday night, big boxing. Big fight night. It's Leigh Wood versus Mauricio Lara in Nottingham, the Motorpoint Arena. It's the WBA Lightweight World Championship contest. Featherweight, not lightweight. Featherweight World Championship contest between two unreal fighters. And that's what we're talking about tonight. That is our main event. We've also had Sheeron Clark up against Israel Dufus, which went to points. Clark won that unanimously. Gary Cully knocking out Wilfredo Flores and a TKO in the second round. And Dalton Smith on our screens at the moment taking on Billy Allington. We're in round 2 of 12, and we've got about a minute and a half left of that one. And Max and I have been talking through it. Very often in the first rounds of boxing anyway, you can't really get a feel for what's going on. It's usually a case of testing the waters, as in the first sort of few minutes of football. So that is what's going on tonight. That's what we're talking about. We'll throw in a bit of football as well. I'm a big Chelsea fan, so tough and painful times for me and Max, a Liverpool fan who's also experiencing some pretty tough and painful times. Josh Warrington ringside tonight, by the way, which is massive because Warrington, obviously the man who was knocked out by, or was beaten by Lara, the man who beat and sort of single-handedly destroyed Josh Warrington's career. So Warrington ringside tonight. Weird people ringside and pitchside at the moment. Tom Hanks was pitchside today at the Arsenal versus Villa game. Don't know if you watched that, if you're a football fan. What a cracker. Seriously, what a cracker. But whilst Max is gone, just very quick, I don't know if you know me or not, I don't know who's watching. Went to university with Max. We're sports journo friends. We were on the journo course together, study sports journalism, and we've known each other a pretty long time now, where we've covered some big events together. So Max, just sort of filling, but also just like going back over how we know each other, to be honest.
Back to the roots, huh?
Back to the roots. Back to day one.
Long time now, isn't it? We're going on 4 years this year. It's crazy.
Happy anniversary.
But just absolutely blessed to kind of retain these relationships. And, you know, we had our old uni group chat popping off last night for your birthday. And it's nice to still be in contact with these people, you know? That
uni group chat last night was popping. There was some unexpected karaoke calls that just were not meant to happen, and our mate Ollie just thought he'd tell
us about it, Noah. Tell us about it. What song was it? Give us a preview.
It was Sweet Caroline. You know what? Neil Diamond. Sweet Caroline. And that's what went down last night. It was meant to come up and say a few words and just set into a sing song. So.
Never going to happen, is it? You always have to embarrass yourself.
I mean, there was no fuck the blues chance in there though. That did not go down.
Oh mate, if I was there, then
do you know why I did not go down? Because we're fucking ourselves right now. We are so unbelievably poor. My team, Chelsea, so unbelievably poor.
Let's get into this. Let's touch on this.
I think it's about time. 8 minutes to 10. We've in round 3 of 12 of Smith Allington. So let's talk a bit of footy.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, guys, like we are doing the watch along. We're not necessarily tucking into the boxing yet, just because, you know, Noah and I don't really get the opportunity to actually have FaceTime kind of contact with each other, unless, like, you know, we'll Snapchat through the week. But the podcast is actually the time that we get to talk to each other. So for a lot of it, we're doing a big catch up first, and that's why we're not getting straight into the live action right away. And then we've got all these things to kind of catch up on.
And it's precious time as well. And like you were saying, it's great that we've all kept our relationships from university. And if you go to uni, if you're watching along, then like it's a big part of uni, really precious and special part too. But let's get into the football. Some great boxing, by the way, between Smith and Allington. Really, really going toe to toe. If we do want to get into the boxing properly, sort of 50-50 at the moment, having just kept an eye over this. And it looks like it's about to get tasty in round 3 of 12. It's now just starting to get good. Unlike Chelsea, who this season haven't really got good from start to finish. Graham Potter comes in. Was he the natural successor to Thomas Tuchel? No. Was I for Graham Potter? No. Did I want him in there in the first place? Not really. Thomas Tuchel, for me, I think is going through what Jurgen Klopp is going through. Went through with Chelsea. Yeah. What Jurgen Klopp is going through right now with Liverpool.
You're spot on.
But unlike Ted Bolley, your owners, I haven't always showed sense, but at least now they're showing some. Stick by the great man, the man who has won and changed so much for you guys. And I genuinely believe if we had stuck with Thomas Tuchel, we wouldn't be in the rut we're in now.
Yeah, and
we would have got out of it.
This is the thing with managers, and I understand why people want to, like, not necessarily in the Liverpool situation with Klopp, but I understand we're in a fast-moving, fast-paced society as it is, let alone even in football. So when it goes into high-pressure events like football, why people call for the manager's head, within a few games, but. These, I don't want to say we're a success story right now. Things are only just turning around. I don't know if it's even going to stay like that. But at least, let's just speak for these last 2 results. They are the perfect example of stick by your man, because any manager can go into a rut. You want to replace the manager.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the manager that comes in is going to have a bad spell sooner or later. It's all going to happen. It's just who you want in there, leading the team while it's happening.
But you know what? It's like any relationship. It's like a relationship.
It is.
You go through bumps. You will go through bumps and bad patches. It doesn't mean every bad patch or every bump you bin off whoever you're with. That is just not how it works. Yeah. And that's what Chelsea have never been good at. Ted Bolley, I think, with Tuchel, was coming in to make a statement. I'm Ted Bolley. I'm the new face of Chelsea. I run the show, not a manager. I think that was a massive part of the Thomas Tuchel stuff. But with Graham Potter, and I say this every game he comes out with the same thing. First half we were slow, and second half we were better because I gave him a bollocking at half time.
Yeah.
Why is it like this every game? Why every single game are we having the same issues? All right, we've got injuries with Ziyech and James, and Silva's injured at the moment. So what? We've just spent £600 million on players.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a player in Mudryk who gets hate unnecessarily, but I think he's going to go on to do really great things. I know I've said that before about like Chelsea players past,
but you've got to have the faith, right?
I do. But Sterling today should have scored at least twice, and how he can't put the ball in the back of the net. Ziyech, who's meant to be a forward, fast-thinking player, gets in front of goal and passes it instead of shoots. It's the same shit every game, really. Cucurella, I know he's been. I think it was tonsillitis, had some really bad sort of health stuff, and he lost a lot of weight. Or whatever. All right, fine. Graham Potter, that's not Graham Potter's fault, but at the same time, Graham Potter needs to up his ideas. I think he's so out of his depth.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because he was a big fish in a small pond with Brighton, or at least that's what it was looking like. I mean, their ability on the pitch was kind of matching his managerial ability, and I think they're a match made in heaven. But they've gone on with a different manager now and are still being very successful. So you kind of question how much was Potter involved in that. Of course, he inherited the team that Potter built and what Potter had instilled in that team. But I know Brighton are doing fantastically and, given better than Chelsea right now in the season, but you're talking about history and levels of the club. It's such a huge jump.
Oh, you're talking about, Brighton, with respect to Brighton, are a tiny club. And I don't care if Brighton fans hate on me. You cannot put Brighton and
You can't
Chelsea.
claim it massive, can you?
You
Like,
cannot
having a
put
good
Brighton
season.
and Chelsea in the same bracket. They're just not. So, yeah, just on football whilst we're talking about it, it's been really hard as a Chelsea fan to... Chelsea have had a bad time whilst I've been a Chelsea fan. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's difficult being a Chelsea fan. I'm not, I've been in and amongst Derby for the last 2 seasons. That's difficult.
It's a whole perspective, isn't it? When we have friends that support like lower league teams.
Being a fan of Leyton Orient when they went through tough times, or any team like that is tough, right? That is tough.
It's an actual privilege to be a Premier League supporter when you kind of compare it to those situations.
But loads of teams that have gone bust and had tough times, and so you can't compare it. Look, I'm a Chelsea fan every year. It's kicking off in the boxing between Smith and Allington.
Oh no, sorry, Allington's hurt here. I got.
No, let's watch. So
I thought Smith grew his hair out.
Boxing right now is kicking off. Allington in the white shorts, Smith in the blue and yellow. And
I was going to say, to see Smith hurt at this stage in his career, given the hype that he's got, dubbed as one of the UK's biggest prospects, to get hurt in that kind of fight would have lowered his stock. But he's putting the work on Allington right now, and that's the end of the 4th round.
What a round! The referee, by the way, I don't know if you've seen it, has had to stop that fight twice already. I think. Because they were getting a little bit too close for comfort with each other, and I think the referee had to just stop twice. Smith's coach is there saying, "Just get into him." That was a brilliant round of boxing. That was brilliant. But going back to Chelsea very quickly, it's been a tough season as for you as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, it's I don't really want to kind of look on the past, even the past couple of months right now, because I'm having the best week I've had in a long time, huge time. But I think that, especially after the Everton win, I think we've discovered our identity a bit. We've just seen how the players play, the injection of pace, the desire to win the ball now. You think that players go out there and get paid and players that play for the badge anyway, you think that they're going to do that week in, week out. And even if it doesn't look like it, you assume that they're trying their best. But you really see when they've got the confidence and the form behind them when they are trying their best. I've seen guys who are a bit slower to balls go like full speed ahead, right at it, trying to win it.
It's what Sean Dyche has done at Everton. I think he's come in and he's instilled a bit of belief. And I think that's what Chelsea players have lost. I think they've lost any belief. I've never agreed with managers not playing. Players not playing for managers. I think that's completely wrong. I saw it happen firsthand at Watford, where players were changing the dynamics in the changing rooms and turning their team against their manager. That is wrong. But at the same time,
it's hard for Watford, right, though, because they can't really settle down with a manager, can they?
But that's the Pozzos. The ownership of Watford and the ownership structure and style is so ridiculous, ridiculous in all levels of football. I know Max and I are both looking away right now because Smith and Allington are really coming to blows. Smith.
I wish I had a lazy eye that I could have like.
I wish I had a lazy eye. Quote of the day from Max. But I do. I need a lazy eye right now because Smith is landing some big blows.
Some big shots.
Some big shots to Allington. I think he's clearly won the last 2 rounds. It was very, very blurry for me the first 3 because obviously we were more deep into conversation there, but we've just been able to kind of check up and kind of look up and focus on the boxing a bit more in these last 3 rounds. And Smith's looking like he's doing what he needs to do. He's ducking really well. Protecting his face really well.
And I was going to say this a bit later, but there's no need not to bring it up now. Our boy that has featured on the podcast hasn't been a live guest yet. Hard to pin him down. He's a bit of a star boy now. He is. Under the promotional banner of Matchroom and his career going from strength to strength. Just having fought tonight as well. None other than Junaid Boston. He's a teammate of Dalton Smith. These 2 guys are from what I take from Junaid's social media, they're like brothers. You know, he supports him fully, and they train together. You know, all the time. And what a great night for the gym it can be if Smith can, and what it looks like Smith is going to finish his man. And those, you know, Junaid just got a finish earlier tonight. Congratulations to him. Fantastic boxer. I'm so excited for his future. I think he's 20 or 21. Huge future ahead of him, and a huge future in front of Smith as well. So, you know, these guys are pretty much the fighting pride of Sheffield right now, and it's big future ahead for the pair of them.
Yeah, and we've just watched Arlington literally go flying. I don't even know what Arlington is all over the place as the round comes to an end.
Did you see that as he was walking to his corner? Then I don't know if he gagged on his gum shield then, but he like convulsed with his neck going. It didn't look natural.
It didn't look natural.
Strange body language at it.
At the moment, this fight's going one way, and that is in the way of the defending British super lightweight champion, Dalton Smith, who's completely bossing this fight. But
he's smashing it.
Listen, if Leigh Wood's anything or anyone to go by, then you never know in a fight.
But this is the fun thing as well. I was going to say is geographically now, like it's Nottingham, and you know we mentioned Zach Parker earlier from Derby, and there's such a hub. You know, shout out One Nation Boxing Gym who I've worked with and you know watch their fighters in the past. You know, made a great relationship with them through this last year. You know, they dubbed themselves the best gym in the Midlands. I would be wrong not to agree with that. From what I've seen, you know, they are fantastic. They house two professionals, Sandy Ryan and horrible Harry Scarf. Amazing gym, and they just kind of goes to show the heritage of boxing in the Midlands, and this is on a professional standard. This is a fantastic show to do it, you know, because Smith boxing out of Sheffield, same with Junaid. You know, I think he's not from Sheffield, but you know, fights out of there, and you know, obviously Sheffield to Nottingham, not a far trip at all. So to get these local guys in who have so much talent as well, and Leigh Wood being the local is you know, it's a bit of a nice brag for British boxing.
Yeah, but boxing in the Midlands is big. It's a really big deal, and they've got a few decent promotions as well. BCB, Black Countries Boxing, another promotion that has been home to quite a few real top level fighters. As these two, you're getting your money's worth tonight. You know, some undercards are often not amazing. It can be fairly poor. You're getting your money's worth with this one. Yeah,
definitely, and I like the way that the undercard was kind of stacked up tonight. You know, obviously, we watched Gary Cully, Shavon Clark, Janae Boston, who I mentioned earlier. Let's talk about Gamal Yafino, because I'm not sure if you saw that result there. We had the pleasure of having his brother Galal, Olympic gold medalist and up-and-coming flyweight. We had him on our podcast before he went off to Tokyo in 2021. Obviously, the Yafai triplets are a fantastic example of British boxing, and you know, great success stories. But Gamal with an upset loss, the third of his career tonight.
Really? Wow! No way.
Yeah. I managed to tune in just as they were announcing the scores. I didn't actually watch the fight.
That's crazy.
Looking downhill for Gamal now.
Well, yeah, but Gamal's the older fighter, right? Gamal's
older than Galal.
Is he the middle? He's the middle brother.
He's the middle child. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
He's the middle child. Yeah.
I'm going to try and find the result of that fight. I think it's going to be
lost on points, but Cal's the eldest, and I'm trying to keep track. I think his last fight he won, but you know, Cal was one of the longest reigning flyweight champions, I think, of all time. You know, was record breaking at pro level, and all the Yafai brothers have had fantastic amateur careers. But Cal now, just naturally with age, has started his decline, and Gamal with this loss now he's also declined a little bit. I don't know if it's going to put a little more pressure on Galal now in his career to kind of maintain and retain that legacy for his brothers almost.
Quite possibly. He's done a pretty good job. The results of the Diego Alberto Ruiz fight tonight were 98-89, 97-90, and 97-91.
That's convincing. That doesn't...
Which which quite.
It's only a couple of rounds to Gamal there, isn't it?
Which says it all. That Gamal clearly was outboxed for an evening. But you are completely right. Galal, absolutely. There's our mate Adi Oladipo with Sam Maxwell, who fought earlier, didn't he? Sam Maxwell?
Yeah, he fought earlier, mate. And I'm going to turn this up because I want to listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, I just feel like he needs to put a few more shots together. He's using the front foot pressure, but he doesn't seem to be confident enough to let his hands go. And I think if he does that, then he'll get out of here. Big win for you a bit earlier on the card. Next, potentially, Dalton Smith. Is that what we're looking at? That's what we're looking
Dalton Smith next to Sam Maxwell.
But that's just perfect for Dalton Smith, I think. Sam Maxwell, 34 years of age now. Looked like when we went to the press conference, what was it, late 2019, good few years ago now, when Maxwell was to fight Conor Parker, ended up on the night knocking him out. He looked like he was ready to step up. I think he's European super lightweight champion at the time, European. So you're looking at that and you're looking like, okay, within a few fights, he's going to be knocking on world level door. And he was at that kind of age in his career. He was about 28 or 29 back then, where you're like, yeah, he's got something coming up. And I don't know if it's the mismanagement in his career maybe, or it obviously stagnated through COVID as everyone's did. But what was the kind of situation there with him? Because before tonight, he was actually coming off of a TKO loss. And it's like, it makes you think, was he just kind of overachieving to be at European level? Or
possibly. Look, I mean, Sam Maxwell, with respect to Sam Maxwell, is never going to go down as one of the greats, is he? He's a good fighter, but he's never going to be a great. So if he was overachieving, then I think you've just got to take your hat off to him. And however, he got to this point in his career where he's still being interviewed on a massive fight night on the zone in front of however many thousands around the world are watching. So you got to hand it to the guy. As for
and he won. So as he said,
and he won. I was just going to say, as for Adi Oladipo, who did the interview, today he got nominated for Sports Presenter of the Year.
I saw this on Twitter, bro. Like, oh my god, shout out to him because
massive.
We saw like, not saying we're boys with him and we saw everything that he put in, but I was familiar with his YouTube channel before he got signed to the Zone, and then we met him at the Olympic qualifiers.
So when we met him, I think that was before he got signed for the Zone. I think
it was.
That was when he was with Sky. It was with Sky back then.
Yeah, and I remember when he was trying to get a interview with Rob McCracken, wasn't he?
Right.
And they were like, no, you're not going to get one. And, with that journalistic instinct that he has, that we all kind of have, he was like, well, let me try. And then he tries it with Rob, and he's like, no.
Yeah, I remember.
You didn't get no words out of me.
And he was such a sound guy. And since then, he's gone on to bits of sport.
By the way, that's not a knock on Ade. That's just because Rob wasn't open to any kind of at the time. Yeah, just to set that.
I mean, I remember that was the big news that Rob McCracken was there. And I was really excited. I was like, Rob McCracken's here. Will Anthony
it was kind of starstruck for us.
Will AJ be here? And I remember going to the Lions Den prior to the Olympic boxing qualifiers, and just seeing like the training facilities where AJ trains, seeing Rob McCracken train. Like,
we saw Joshua Buatsi there as well, didn't we?
Yeah, with and did we see Buatsi as well?
We saw Buatsi, mate.
Yeah.
He was like right behind me, and I remember like turning around, and I like did a double take. I was like, and I turned back, and I'm like,
that's Buatsi,
guys. Joshua Buatsi's behind me, and then but the guys are wrapping up, and like the fanboy and the journalist, and you want to run over Josh,
that's
how
it,
you
but
do
that is always it. I promise. That is like every game I cover. It's like the fanboy in me, and I just want to go and like talk to these guys and meet these guys and get a selfie with these guys, and you can't
because you're like, this guy wasn't expecting us to be here when he went into training today, especially if he's preparing for a fight. You don't want to like disturb them or interrupt them. At the end of the day, they're in the Lions Den, not to talk to anyone that they don't know. They're in there to cook. They're in there to work. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
that's what it's like when you see a team training. When you go to the training ground, that's exactly what it's like. They're there working, and they don't know you're there. Like they know that you're there ruining their day, but you are. And all you want to do is go over to talk to them.
Exactly. At the end of the day, They're there to do their job. You're there to do yours. A lot of the time in media, obviously that crosses paths because you're going to do interviews in it. But at that stage, that's when you introduce yourself and do all the pleasantries, you know.
Round 8, by the way, of Smith, Allington, and it's been Smith has been so dominant in this fight.
Yeah, he's superb, mate. He really. Oh,
Allington
knocked him
looks
down.
weak. And Allington, his legs are gone. He's gone. Allington's gone. So he's on his neck.
Huge left hook there from Smith. He's so sharp with that hook. Coming off the clinch.
Nothing called yet. Nothing called yet.
Allington's guard just broke his off the clinch. He couldn't get his hands up quick enough.
Right, so now Smith now needs to finish this.
Yeah. I think, 2 rounds to go now. And he's just when you watch enough boxing, you know when a finishing sequence is in full motion, and it is right now.
Yeah, you do.
Allington has no legs beneath him.
No, Allington's got.
I think one more
Smith,
big shot, and the rest going to get involved there and call it off.
Or Smith now just boxes smart and he gets it on points, but he's not going to. I mean, Allington.
Yeah,
almost certainly about to get knocked out.
Everyone gets excited. Oh my god! Especially when you're in an arena, you see a big shot like that. You're like, yeah, like it gets you so pumped, and then you want to see him do more. But and I can get to you as a boxer.
Oh.
But the best boxers finish their man off, and the likelihood of finishing your man off is increased when you have the discipline not to get greedy, not to rush your work, not to say, ooh, he's hurt, let me just fly in with every single punch I can get. Is still picking your shot, still having that kind of restraint.
And that's why I don't think Lara has. I don't think Lara has that restraint.
I think, you're right.
That's my concern with Lara. I think he's got too much just a craziness within him.
He does, yeah.
I think he just wants to go for the kill. And you're right.
That can be a downfall a lot of the time.
Completely. Smith here is just taking his time. But Smith also knows that
beautiful white uppercut there. He's been catching every time I looked up on the screen.
I know.
He's caught him with that.
But throughout the whole fight, he's been there. Another uppercut.
Allington just walking into the ropes.
I mean, Allington can't stand straight.
Yeah. Look at it. The rest pushed him back to separate him, and he's had to backpedal to the other side of the ring to lean on the ropes. It's not looking good, Brad.
It's really not looking good for Allington, Billy Allington. Yeah, he's swinging wildly. He's completely missing.
He needs to get that fringe shot, man. I would hate to have,
I've
got hair that long, but it's all up in his face,
Yeah, Smith now needs to just
come it back. Oof.
Go for it.
Round's finished.
If that were Liam Smith, that fight would have been over.
Yeah, that boy's got some next level killing.
If that were Liam and not Dalton,
different Smith.
That would be done and dusted there.
Did you see he's been I think it's a WBC or WBA, one of the governing bodies has named Liam Smith as the number one in the rankings now.
Really? I tell you what I did see this week. I saw that if Jake Paul beats Tommy Fury, he gets a ranking.
Yeah.
He gets a ranking. Seriously. I mean, that's a big if. If Jake Paul beats, I don't really want to spend too much time tonight speaking about Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, but
we're at the stage. I'm going to take you to my kitchen here while I get a refreshment.
Unreal. We're at the stage where it's happening now. This fight is very much on.
We've got to accept it, haven't
we? We've just got to accept that it's on and talk about it. And I think that Tommy Fury, by the way, he's almost got the responsibility of winning for boxing, let alone just for himself.
It's a lot of reputation on the line for him, isn't it? At the end of the day,
massive,
and it makes it tough. But okay, and I don't necessarily know the situation with Tommy in rankings, but I'm saying if Tommy's ranked, if Tommy is ranked, and Jake Paul beats him, that shouldn't be an outrage because he's beating someone to earn the ranking. But if they're not ranked, that's completely different. And you can just tell the WBC are just doing it as a gimmick, and they deserve to be flipping banned. You know what I mean? Take WBC out of rankings.
Look, if there's any sort of truth in this fight, then Tommy Fury goes and wins it in the first 4 rounds. That's just if Tommy Fury is really a boxer, then he goes and does the job in the first 4, maximum 5 rounds.
Yeah, and it should be done, but. The thing is, and I wish it could be done, but Tommy hasn't really proved himself to be much of a genuine boxer. I say that in the respect of disappointing performances recently, and I think that's why he's calling for more of these celebrity kind of fights.
Did you watch
because you get
his
put off by these
workout video with John Fury, where John Fury almost says to him, "This isn't a joke and this isn't a show. Stop, focus," because he kept missing the pads. He kept throwing and missing.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw the video where.
The thing is, I'm so cynical with the Furies because they've pulled so much wool over our eyes in the over the years and over the time. Like, I just question everything they kind of do, and I'm questioning it if John's doing that because, like, actually for the cameras. Although he's saying, you know, don't do it for the cameras. I'm thinking you're probably saying that for the cameras anyway. Do you know what I mean? Everything's a bit of a gimmick to them. It's kind of hard to see what is truly genuine there, but. Yeah, if that really was the case, and that's what Tommy's doing, you know, you're over. I think he was just about 2 weeks out from the fight. There, you got to be fully in motion. But that's why I think they've done it as a bit of a PR stunt for the cameras. But it's always hard to tell with the Fury family, isn't it?
No, so is. And as for the fight we're watching now, Smith Allington, I don't know how Allington stayed on his feet. Genuinely, this is some impressive boxing in terms of on the defensive, because. Allington has been pummeled this last round.
And do you know what? I thought he's made a terrible. That's just a shoulder there. He just collided into the shoulder of Smith, and Smith hasn't thrown that out.
He's stumbling around.
He's fallen in and he's fallen back. But what I was going to say is in that last round. So I'm not going to get on my feet. I was going to give a little.
Go on, let's see. Go on, let's.
But he's not necessarily. But like. If I've got to break down the punching, I'll do it. But what he's done in the last round is got on his bike as soon as he's got hurt. And that's ask Teddy Atlas, because his Fight Night champion commentary always sticks with me. When you rock one of the fighters, he's like, you know, he's trying to get on his bike, but he's got no wheels. He hasn't got the legs beneath him to stay on his feet. And that's what Allington's done. He tried to stay active, stay out the way of Dalton's shots. But you can't do that when you have no base, you have no foundation, you have no support system underneath you. You can't do that. What you have to do is get closer to Smith so he can't land these flush shots. Yeah, you're dicing with danger a little bit because you're coming close and you're risking getting hit. But when you're up there, you know, and you're too close to the punches, then Smith can't land a flush shot to hurt you. You go in there, spoil his work, clinch him, because then you've got someone to lean on, someone to hold.
That's what he's doing, and that's exactly what he's doing.
That's your breathing space. But what he did in that last round, and he almost paid the ultimate consequence for it, was he was trying to, instead of getting too much on the inside, he was getting too much on the outside and falling over his own feet.
Yeah, and that's exactly. Well, that's what Wood can't do tonight. Wood cannot let Lara get on the inside of him. This is like
that.
This is UFC. This is turning into.
I didn't even clock that.
So my screen's now loaded. Okay, it's back. And
I've looked down and Allington just holding his head.
I mean,
Noah, we have to get ourselves one of these for the main event. If you can stop Kenny.
I'm gonna need another. I've got some in this little orange cup of mine.
Some Jamba Juice.
I've got some fun. Yeah, exactly.
Some fun stuff in there. As we should on a Saturday, you know, it's a podcast, but it's
Saturday night.
It's my boy's 22nd, so it's a celebratory podcast.
Kick back, relax, a little celebratory podcast. Just enjoy. You know, it's just about enjoying tonight, and
that's what we love.
Do you think this referee is just unbelievably lenient as well?
The referee does not want peace. He wants problems always.
This ref, right. We were saying
he's let it go on a bit too far, hasn't
he? I'm amazed that Allington is still in this fight.
This is the problem. At the end of the day, right, it's a fine line for, you know, we talked about fine lines before in different aspects of the sport, but it's a fine line for a referee to give a fighter every opportunity that he deserves to carry on fighting. But when you're 2 rounds out, you've got nothing to prove, you're going to lose the fight convincingly. What's the point in being in there? And the referee would come back, if I was to say that to him, would say, well, he's still able to throw punches back. And that's what the UFC go off as well. If they'll stop the fight if you can't throw punches back. If you're, this is the phrase, intelligently defending yourself. If you can intelligently defend yourself, then you're still in the fight.
Yeah, it's so hard to define intelligently defending yourself because
Yeah, but as long as you're throwing punches, that's enough for some refs. But I
he's
think
like Alex is landing what 1 in every 6 or 7 punches.
oh, he's getting tagged with that right hand. He's walking straight onto that right hand.
So yeah, but this is like you don't want to see. This is just
exactly. That's what I mean. Even if he is intelligently defending himself,
I don't know. So this
he's
is really.
taking.
I'm glad we're watching this fight. This is really interesting because with hey Hannah,
we got it.
Hannah's just jumped on.
Okay.
This is a really interesting fight. I'm really glad. This is like a perfect case study for boxing because we've got someone who is just being battered, but it's still allowed to go on.
Yeah, and you know we spoke about Dex Bowman. God knows how it's going to be for Allington in a few years, possibly because of these rounds. And you know, I'd hate for Dalton Smith to feel like it's his fault for inflicting that. It's not. You know, he's out there to do.
No,
his
it's
job.
not. It's not.
It's the referee's job to pull it in.
Is it also?
And the corners.
I was just going to say, is it Allington's corners job as well to look after their boy? Who, look, if my fighter from my stable were out there now fighting the way that Allington is, I think I would throw in the towel.
This is what we see what we saw with Anthony Yard. You know, when we were talking about last week in the podcast, we were talking about best fights of the year so far, and you know we brought up Yard and Beterbiev, and Yard was, as I said, intelligently defending himself, but the corner was like, yeah, but you're just taking ridiculous damage, and we don't want to see it. In goes the towel, and thankfully, you know, Tunde's his coach has got a lot of stick in recent years, but everybody applauded him for that, and I think, you know, the sooner the better that the towel goes in for Allington's corner here. Look at that, he's just gone in, again, and gone in again because it's that easy for Dalton because Allington he don't know what to do with himself.
Yeah, saying that though, Allington has, I mean, mentally, this guy must be the strongest boxer I've ever seen.
Yeah,
let's take our hats
off to him. You know, we're saying he's taking crazy damage, but he's doing it and still trying to throw back. That it takes every bit of heart. You get like, and this is the thing with fans as well. Fans have never been hit with shots that Allington's taken, right?
The heart he's showing now,
and so we don't realise how much he's digging deep to get off his stool and to go and take that for another 3 minutes again, and he might have to take it for 6 if the ref, Dalton Smith or his corner don't do anything about it.
This is super lightweight, but yeah, these guys still hit heavy, right?
Oh my gosh, mate!
So heavy.
We're looking at guys that are fighting at what's featherweight, 126 pounds.
Yeah, something like that.
So we're watching guys that are fighting 14 pounds lower than this, and we're probably about 20 minutes away from seeing the damage that does. So, oh my God, pound for pound, there's punches like this. It's what really infuriates me when, you know, and my old man, my dad, is a big culprit for this. Goes lower than welterweight, and he just doesn't pay interest. And I'm like, Dad, there are monster punchers out here that you could be watching and gaining entertainment from, like the middleweights and like the welterweights that you're interested in watching.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what we're watching right now. What we are watching right now, a slugfest, toe to toe. Or I say slugfest, more of a slaughtering, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's completely killing Allington, but at the same time, this is like exciting, entertaining boxing on a Saturday night.
Great. We haven't been able to look each other for about. We haven't been able to have like a 30-second
because it's so
interaction with the camera.
Allington in the corner or on the ropes, and that's it. There has been no fighting in the centre of the ring for the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah,
with Smith.
And it's since he's taken that massive left hook that rocked him to the floor. Allington's just been trying to circle around, but it's been doing him no favours. And my stream
is blowing up. I said, well, I can tell you
nothing before, like nothing you've ever seen. Oh,
well, I can tell you that your stream might be playing up, but Allington's just hit the turf. He's back on his feet.
It came back, and I just saw him in the corner on his knees. He looked like he was worshipping the bloody neutral corner.
Well, he's back. He's back
on his knees, facing
that. He's back on his feet again. How is he still going?
But look at the way he stood. You know, he stood in that Philly shell like that, and it's like, if you've got full consciousness, if you haven't taken big shots and you're able to roll from those shots and flick your shoulder in the way, that's fine. But when you're taking monster punches that you've been eating and been dropped with in the last 4 rounds, That's not going to do you any good. Just
and I don't want to be. I don't want to be the safety police here, but this is astonishing. This is really, it's genuinely astonishing. If you've just tuned in, we've got Smith here, Dalton Smith, completely destroying Billy Allington to the point where Allington can't stand up on his own 2 feet.
I can't wait to see how happy Janae Boston's going to be for his fight. You're going to see it on the story straight away. He's going to be enjoying it, and you know.
I can't wait to see the scorecard for this fight. If it's allowed to go, we've got 1 round left. If this fight goes to the next round, the scorecard for this fight is going to be the most one-sided scorecard you're ever going to see.
Yeah. As I said, you know, we didn't see the first 3 rounds, but you can imagine what kind of went on. Dalton Smith probably just measuring his work and getting ready to load up and put on the action that he has put on from what I've seen the second half of the fight, you know, well, everything from about round 4 or 5.
And you know what? I haven't seen that much of Dalton Smith, to be honest. Watching this fight.
Same.
But this,
I've heard a lot.
But that's it. Again, I've heard about him. But again, this is the advert for lightweight boxing, light heavyweight boxing, or lightweight boxing. Because that Smith fights.
As I said, that kind of featherweight to, you know, these guys are super lightweight. So that kind of 120 to 140 pound weights that a lot of people that aren't familiar with boxing and only watch it for your AJs or your household names, you know, it's a shame that they're not familiar with these guys because they'll look at this and be entertained. And I get so much pleasure from showing, you know, from watching a fight with my friends who don't actually keep up with boxing a lot, who go to watch it for the main event. But when they actually watch the undercard and enjoy the undercard fight,
they're always.
It's such a good feeling, man.
They're blown away by undercards. So round 12 of 12, the Smith keeps
and
on going.
He's gone that far.
Keeps on going for the kill against Allington. Allington still surviving in this fight on the undercard of Leigh Wood versus
Mauricio
Lara. A long day, Mauricio Lara.
It's been a long day
with. There wasn't much sleep last night. Mauricio Lara, the Mexican, who beat Josh Warrington, beat him once last year and then sort of retired with a draw with an injury.
Yeah. It's such a shame that's how it was because. I mean, I think Lara was well on his way to getting the second.
Yeah, but Lara's sort of like Lara's smile and the way Lara that he bent Josh Warrington. I don't know if I lost you. I was just saying the way Lara like genuinely enjoyed getting like really deeply upsetting Josh Warrington. I think says that this guy doesn't give a shit.
It's a bit scary, yeah. It's a bit like, and then for him to have battered Warrington as much as he has, and then like as you said, you know, he's merciless. Like for him to have battered him really and then said, "I want to retire him," it makes you think, you know, this guy. There is only a killer instinct. You know, a lot of fighters have to grow into developing a killer instinct. This guy, that's his like base form. Like that's all he knows. It's scary, but that's scary. That's such a scary thing.
I know. It genuinely. I think that's probably why Leigh Wood is a little bit scared for tonight's fight, and I can't take my eyes off this Smith-Allington fight because I can't believe what I'm saying. I cannot believe Allington's still on his feet. I genuinely cannot believe it.
You got to give good props to him. It's insane, isn't it? And you know, we say we haven't seen a lot of Dalton Smith, and I haven't, but. You know, I've heard his name and I've seen him on undercard bills as well. And he headlined the Smith O'Mason fight as well. He fought O'Mason, I think, a few months ago. And you know, he was top of the bill on that fight. You know, he's establishing himself so well in this British scene. And for him to be on the co-main event of this fight, but I'm thinking, you know, it can't just be his name that carries it. Allington has got have achieved a lot to get in there with him and. You know, obviously they're levels apart, as you can see, but he's still in there, and he's forced
still in there,
and what?
Seriously, what?
Still dodging punches and throwing back in the last seconds.
10 seconds to go.
You know, when
he's finally
that's the type
up.
of guy that's like, you can throw whatever you want at me. You ain't gonna get me out of there. You know, fair play to him, but I hope that does not have any.
And fair play to him for staying in the ring 12 rounds. He can now say that he went 12 rounds with Smith.
I hope that has
he's lost that fight.
Permanent bearing on his health, or you know, you can only wish him good health and prayers going forward in his career. But you know, I think that's such a great statement. He's going to have to fight lower level opponents if he wants wins in his career.
Yeah.
But you know what a talented guy, even as far as his physical and mental thing goes.
And his corner now will be saying to him, "You deserve a lot of credit for staying in that." Like we were talking about Zach Parker and Daniel Dubois earlier, and like I said with Daniel Dubois, I would have absolutely made that decision. And okay, he hasn't been injured in the same way tonight, Allington, but he could have very easily have quit. He could have very easily have given up, and he didn't. And so, huge credits to him. And let's get any little scorecard predictions for this one?
Yeah,
heavy.
Maybe Allington won a round or two within the first three, but other than that, it was all Dalton Smith, wasn't it? So
I think it's about 10.
Yeah,
10
we're looking at like 119, 110s, aren't we? Across the board here. 119, 109s.
That's what we're looking at here.
That's what we'll be seeing. Maybe Allington's nabbed one, but from what I've seen, you know, Smith's won every round convincingly. But you can't give enough props to Billy Allington for being in there. Look at Eddie Hearn loves it, doesn't he?
Eddie Hearn loved it. He was getting I don't know if you watched the press conference with Lara and Leigh Wood, but Eddie Hearn was getting a little bit invested as well in it. He was Lara's trainer sort of just touched Leigh Wood, and Hearn was having none of it. Hearn was really upset that Lara's trainer had got hands on his boy.
I mean, I feel like it's unprofessional that I don't know this, but is Lara signed to Matchroom since his win against Warrington, or is he his own agent? Because we all know Hearn has favourites and preferences, but
I was going to say, if you put Hearn with one of the two, you put him with Leigh Wood.
Yeah, of course. You know, he's been at the Matchroom stable for so long, but if he signed Lara and then like been hostile to him, you can't do that to your own. Well, I wouldn't say customer, but to your own client, I guess. Like,
well, but that's always, you know, when two boxers from the same promotion, as rare nowadays as that is, come up against each other. Yeah. It's like when you're a parent to two children playing on opposite teams. In the Super Bowl, I don't know who it was, but did you see the two brothers on either team in the Super Bowl?
Were they?
In this year's Super Bowl, they were.
Mate, I was only there for the Rihanna performance. I know what went on.
She's my girl. Laura Woods and Rihanna. Let's see whose hand is raised first. I think it's going to be Dalton Smith. I think that's pretty obvious.
Dalton Smith got 11 degree sponsors on his. I have not seen 11 degrees since year 11.
Yeah, he has. He has. Yeah, Dalton Smith.
Been undefeated, and this. He's 14-0, 10 by knockout. You know that. Wow, Billy
you can tell why.
The fourth guy. Yeah, the fourth guy only the fourth guy to go the distance with Dalton Smith in his career out of 14 fights. I mean, that is some achievement anyway. But I got to ask you, Noah, now, who is to you now the biggest prospect from what you've seen? Of course, you're not. You know, maybe as deeply invested in the British boxing scene as much as I am, but like, who's a standout prospect who's kind of building their career like Dalton Smith for you, if anyone?
Like Dalton Smith for me, if anyone. You've just got so many up and coming British boxers at the moment. I mean, the British boxing scene is so huge. I don't think we can overlook Joe Joyce. Like, seriously, I don't think we can overlook Joe Joyce. I think
but I think he's gone past that prospect level now, isn't he, at 36 or however old he is. If you're looking at younger, fresher fighters, who are a bit further away from a world title shot.
Give me a pool of names.
I think, well, the standout one to me is Adam Azim.
Okay.
You got your Adam Azims, your Dalton Smith. I think, like, of course, Janae Boston is a prospect, but he's not quite there yet. But yeah, you know, as you said, I can't even reel them off because there are so many in there.
And there are loads. There are loads, and you can think to so many. When we touched on Joe Joyce, I just want to say I think the Juggernaut is just an unreal fighter.
He's your boyfriend, isn't he? He loves it.
I want that man to. I want that man. I just want I want that man. And James Hoey as well. Big shout out to Joey in the comments. We love you too. Massive Liverpool fan. massive Liverpool fan, Joey. So big shout out
I
to
haven't
Joey.
seen these comments. I can't even see them pop up.
These comments flying at the moment. But it was quite a tough question with so many. Campbell Hatton.
Campbell Hatton is a great shot. I mean, he's flown under the radar for a lot of time.
Campbell Hatton is if you're pushing me for a name, then why not?
I didn't see any kind of press or media, maybe because I'm not involved myself at the Manchester neck of the woods, but I haven't seen stuff circulate around Campbell Hatton for ages. But I think because
he's still there. He's still there.
His career got off to a bit of a rocky start, didn't it? With
it's very hard being it's very hard being in someone's shadow, and either you can live up to that pressure, like I think Campbell Hatton is doing, like in football with players like Frank Lampard, or you buckle under the pressure like Conor Benn, who he did pretty well to a point, but now look at Conor Benn, where he clearly couldn't handle it because he failed the drug test, and he's lost a lot of respect in boxing. So some real prime talent coming through at the moment, and I mean you must see it on a day-to-day basis working for Cardiff Met Uni.
What's that now? Seeing
just talent coming through in sport.
Oh mate, I know, yeah, and it's we know how cutthroat sport is, but to actually see it at that level, these guys. I'm on like 20%. Hopefully it.
You gotta make the fight. You've got to make the fight. I'm on 30.
We've got to make the main event.
I'm on 30%. So
if I get to 10,
about young talent.
If I get to 10, I'll improvise. But yeah, you see it as you said at uni level, and we look at it with the rugby guys that are week in, week out playing for pro contracts in rugby, and are given massive opportunities. We've had great alumni like Alex Donbrandt has come through the ranks and now makes it into the England squad. Big players who have, if they play well enough, have huge futures ahead of them, and especially at that age. It's funny with the rugby boys as well, because they're all about a couple of years younger than me and about twice,
I know,
3-4 times the size.
It's scary. I feel like an old man. Like genuinely, all the talent that comes through, I'm like, I feel like I interview footballers that are younger than me. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
where did I go wrong?
where did I go wrong? How am I on this end of it? Like tomorrow, I'll be interviewing players that are genuinely younger than me. I was doing my research on 16 and 17-year-olds coming through, and research that for commentary should be sort of better off now with it being tomorrow. But I can sort of show you. This is what commentary notes look like, by the way.
Look,
they're pretty messy.
This man goes nowhere without his research. Absolutely nowhere.
You've got to do research. You've got to research.
If you want to make it as a journalist, people, if the two that are live now, or you're seeing this on the next YouTube episode, you cannot go anywhere. I would not feel comfortable.
Like you have to.
Anywhere professionally without having done a background check, and
so
it's got to be
everyone. You know what's really interesting, because people always come up to me and they're like, "How do I do my commentary notes?" Everyone does commentary notes really differently. Mine is sort of I'm really, I guess a little bit like Clive Tilsley, but not really. Okay, here's the thing I see on Twitter a lot, and this is like my big thing with commentary stuff. I see on Twitter the most perfect commentary notes all the time, the most unbelievable handwriting. And
mate, handwriting is not the worst of it, as long as you can make sense of it, right?
Bro, like colours, handwriting, little pictures and dots and drawings, right? And they look amazing. They look incredible, but
it's all smoke and mirrors, mate. Don't worry.
But it's smoke and mirrors, because all you've got is the name of a player and like maybe like a number. Like you can't.
Fact,
you know what? Mine isn't neat and tidy. It's a little bit messy, as you can see, but it does the job, and I can look at it and know what I need from it. So every player, you've got numbers 1 to 24 for Derby County women tomorrow. Every player, their name, their age, the amount of goals they've scored, and like Imogen Maguire, goalkeeper, plays piano. Megan Clarkson, she's 25, she's a dentist. So like, just little things that go along with it.
And I think it's these things as well. Like as we were saying, a lot of fans kind of overlook things, and it even goes into media and journalism as well. Like they'll be listening to commentary, and a commentator will bring up a fact about them, and they just think, oh, that's just commentary. It's just how it happens.
But
no, the commentator's done his research to do that,
and homework.
And sometimes it takes something. It takes something for them to bring a fact out, like a yellow card. It'll be like, this is amount of yellow cards they've had. That is a record for.
And,
do you know what I mean?
And it's easier. It's easier at Premier League level because you've got researchers there to help you. Like the commentator does the research, and then you've got third division of women's football. Like there is no one there. You're on your own. So,
and that's the same thing I see with Buck Sport as well. And at that uni level. Anyone, well, of course, not anyone can be a good commentator at a Premier League level, but it's so much easier to do that because you watch these guys week in, week out, you know about them. Okay, there's probably a lot of stuff you don't know about them, but you can easily find that on the internet. But this is what I love about this kind of lower level stuff is that the only way to actually gain the access to that information is you've got to talk to them. You've got to find that out.
You literally do. And like, you can find some cool stuff online. Like then, on Stokes number 5 tomorrow, it studied maths at like the University of Nottingham. So like that's great. And if she does something clever, like you can throw in something about her studying maths and that she's really intelligent or whatever. Like you can throw stuff in. So anyway, commentary notes for tomorrow's game. 2/3 of the way there. I'll probably get out quite early tomorrow morning and finish them so they're fresh in the brain. Early night tonight. Mine hasn't been like a monk, and my body hasn't been like a temple in the last day or two. But we're gonna change that. We're gonna change that after the next beer. So we're gonna go down, and I still live with the boys, so the house is an absolute shit.
Mate, that's uni heritage. It's got to be done, isn't it? I wouldn't expect you to
go down and.
Wouldn't expect it to be in any other shape or form. If
go down and get a beer. I'm off this. I'm off the stream. So if anything crazy happens, Max, you got to tell me.
Okay, that.
Venture down. Okay. Venture down. None of the boys downstairs. I feel like doing an F1 grid walk right now. Clear, and okay.
Out,
so this is where I need Instagram's help. We've got Moretti in the fridge. We've got Stella. Stella and Moretti are the choices tonight. I mean, I think it's a pretty obvious choice, isn't it?
Well, now you've worried me because you say obvious, and
I think I think this is
I've got an obvious thing on my head, but I don't want to say it just in case I'm wrong.
I mean, I'm going to go for the obvious choice here, which is
okay. Just show us. Just show the badge.
Why on earth would you drink Stella when you've got?
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Yes, that's the way. Italian over anything. Italian over anything. Oh. That's why we got to run these out, baby.
In all walks of life. Gotta finish this up here.
Not you saying that while we both have non-Italian girlfriends.
Yeah, she's the most non-Italian girl you'll ever meet. No links to it. I don't want to show anyone the bottle opener. I do not want the bottle opener going on Instagram. So
okay, now you said it, you have to show us now. It has to be done.
This is bottle opener galore. You're getting a glimpse into the life of the very serious BBC sports journalist Noah Abrahams, who doesn't really care.
The fact you've picked up and done a little spin, you've done a little.
bro, it gets the spin. Anyway.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is just unbelievable. Thanks for getting us censored on YouTube now, my friend.
yeah. Anytime. That's the Middlemen podcast cancelled. It's fine. You know what? You can't have a little bit of.
You can only open bottles with it, people. Okay, don't get any crazy ideas.
That's it. Nothing else happens. It's brown because it's wood. Right.
This is what happens in between two fights when we haven't got a fight to look at and commentate on.
This is what happens pre-Middlemen episode. Pre-episode every week. This is what happens. Right.
We normally get it out of our system before we start recording, but
we usually do.
People,
but not this. Not when it's live.
Exactly. You can't escape it when it's live.
But
for good reason.
You can't. When it's live, it's live. Work-wise, what have you been up to?
So actually, done one of the most horrible things a man who works through the week can do. A man who doesn't work in hospitality can do is one of the worst things is working on a Saturday. at the start of last year, it was a usual routine for me to work every Saturday evening.
Yeah.
And now working on a Saturday just feels horrible. But I did it, and it was not as near as bad as you know, you think how a Saturday shift is going to go. You know, as you know, Kian in the comments earlier today, he was on hand operating the third camera for our live stream. We live streamed British wheelchair basketball, women's, between obviously my team who I work for, Cardiff Met, the Archers. It was the Archers. We faced Worcester Wolves, and naturally, I don't have the first clue about wheelchair basketball.
Right, but you've become as much of an expert in that as you can, right?
Yeah. And it's just so fun to just not be familiar with sports and just watch them firsthand.
Genuinely
because most of the time, right, 9 times out of 10 now, I've seen a new sport that I have had no idea about. I've been thoroughly entertained by the end of it. It's happened this year with ice hockey. I've done some work up with Cardiff Devils, the local ice hockey team. My boss,
ice hockey's great. Ice hockey's great.
My boss produces the live streams up there, and that I've been privileged to be a part of. And yeah, ice hockey is the atmosphere, that everything about that sport is just fantastic to watch. Same with F1 a couple of years back. And yeah, now with wheelchair basketball, it's crazy, you know, because before we set up, you know, as the digital media intern, it's not necessarily about gaining the media as such, because that is the student's job. We basically, I'm part of a tech team, so I work with another intern, and then we have 2 technical demonstrators, and then my boss, who is the lead technician on the case. We set up the live stream, and I play a part in just setting it up. So we got all the cameras ready. We make it happen, basically. But the students are the ones that do the roles of commentary, camera operating. There were no replays today, but you know, on a Wednesday on a rugby, on our usual live stream, we've got replays, your graphics, you know, everything that kind of goes into a production. It's
amazing. What goes into production it is amazing. I mean, I can tell you what goes into radio. I can tell you that. I cannot tell you what goes into TV, but I've seen it, and it is incredible what goes into TV.
Mate, there's so much as well. There is no simple or straightforward way about it. There is so much, and you know, I've been a part of the best part of probably about 20 live streams since I've started my work here as an intern, and I've still got so much to learn, just because that's how it is, you know. But that's so exciting to be able to kind of be a part of it and be like, yeah, you know, I've still got to learn all that, but it's a fun thing to do, and especially, as I said, in a sport you know nothing about, and then being completely taken aback by it. You know, these guys in wheelchair basketball, like, before we set up, we came in a little bit early, and you know, we had the whole basketball court to ourselves, so we're shooting hoops, you know.
That's what you do.
And I'm jumping off the floor, obviously, to shoot these balls. Like, I barely landed any. I barely made any shots. They all missed.
From that level,
these guys are sat down.
Sitting down. I know. It's crazy.
It's so crazy. Impressive. It's so impressive. Right.
It is. Oh my God! Have you just seen Mauricio Lara?
Al Bronco is walking out. I'm gonna be 1 minute.
With his massive hat.
I absolutely love. Right. It's either a Mexican, or when American or other fighter fights a Mexican, they always bring them out.
Sombreros, bro. Sombreros are the way forward.
It's big drip.
Massive drip from Mauricio Lara with the drip.
It's one more restroom break before we get into the main event of the evening, the fight of the night. I'm gonna be 2 minutes again, though, and I'll be right back.
Comfort break for Max. If you got any questions for me, who we got on live, got a couple of you. So if you got any questions, then drop them in. Keep them coming. Keep joining. Thanks for watching. Mauricio Lara up against the man, Leigh Wood, tonight in Nottingham. It's going to go down big time. My prediction is that it goes the distance and that Leigh Wood comes out on top. I think he's going to box smarter, box more intelligently. I think he's going to hit the body early on. I don't think he's going to let Lara get on the inside. That's where it's going to get dangerous if he does. So Mauricio Lara versus Leigh Wood. Lara, the defending champion, the WBA champion. Leigh Wood fighting for it tonight in Notts, his hometown. If he wins, then, well, maybe he's got the city ground at his disposal. Who knows? But thanks for joining us on our live stream. It's Saturday night at its best. Got a little beer, grab a beer, watch this fight. It's going to go down. It's really, really going to be a good one. Look, the last time Leigh Wood got in the ring, fight of the year. It was fight of the year against Michael Conlan. He got knocked out in the first round. He had him on the ropes in the 6th round and then knocked Michael Conlan out of the ring in the 12th round. It is going to go down tonight. And we're just getting ready for it now. We've just seen Mauricio Lara in his sombrero. I need a sombrero. I need to get a sombrero. I think we should get Max a sombrero. Now he's gone. I think that should be. If anyone wants to if anyone's got any like ideas of sombreros or where you get them, let me know and we'll sort it out for Maxi boy. Who is an absolute legend, by the way. I know he's going to watch this back and he's going to watch this part back. Max is just a top man. Big Liverpool fan. Works hard and grafts hard every single day. So big plaudits to Max. And the lights are out and not. So away we go. You can see the torches and the red flashing lights as I think Leigh Wood begins his ring walk. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I'm going to turn it up so you guys can hear it as well. So hopefully you can hear just a tiny bit of that now as Leigh Wood makes his way out into the ring in Nottingham, his hometown, the big, big Nottingham Forest fan. What would your ring walk be? Drop a comment. Max, what would your ring walk be?
My ring walk, mate. Oh, there is a bit of hesitation. I'll tell you what. It's going to be one of 2 tunes that stuck with me as they would play in the car, as I would be in the car, go on my way to fights as an amateur.
Go on.
There's a Tupac song, a bit of a more unknown Tupac song, When We Ride on Our Enemies.
Never heard it.
Mate, listen to it after our show. Oh my gosh, the feeling that gives you, because it gives me that feeling for years, because I remember that kind of the situations I was in when I was listening to that song, you know, the pre-fight nerves, and then, you know, kind of tapping into that mindset.
When you hear that song, can you still smell it? Can you still smell
the sweat? I just wish someone was in front of me hearing it, you know. I'm shadow boxing, I'm throwing combos. You
can feel it right now.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's either that or it's Roy Jones Jr. Can't Be Touched. What a fantastic song that is. Both of those just get me. I know a lot of British fighters, they have to play up to the crowd, so they put on a big British song that all the fans know. That's completely understandable, but I need something that's going to get me in the zone, you know?
Well, I'm thinking, yeah. I was going to go either I'd also go 2. One's very basic and one's not. Basic one, 7 Nation Army, I think would be insane. Yeah. I think walking out in front of however many thousands with "Oh no way," you know me.
Mate, you got too many syllables in your name to fit that into a chant.
Right.
Oh no way, Abrahams. There we go. I got it.
Maybe.
I got it.
Or because if I could pick anywhere, I'd fight in Chicago, and I'd have Kanye West's Homecoming. And oh my God.
What a song, mate.
It would take the roof off. Homecoming, Shy City, fireworks on Lake Michigan with the lights popping. Bit of
British sprinkled in there with Chris Martin on the chorus.
Bit of Chris Martin in there as well. I'm telling you, I can imagine it coming out now. Bit of, you know, maybe a bit of 7 Nation Army in there as well, but Shy City, honestly.
I absolutely love that. That is, that's a huge
shout.
That
would be mine.
Mauricio Lara, nonetheless, has got out there. What are those Mexican bands called? What are they called?
I don't know what they're called, but I love them.
I was going to say Sriracha then, but that's the sauce, isn't it?
That's great. That's the sauce.
But it's saucy nonetheless. I can't remember. It is. It was on the tip of my tongue then.
I don't know what.
I can't remember.
We can well, I've got we can have a look. So what do we even type into the search? What do you call?
Stream's gone.
Okay, I've still got the stream.
Luckily enough, we got time.
A mariachi.
Mariachi. I knew it was like a chi at the end, you know. Even though Sriracha didn't.
Meanwhile, whilst you try and... Have you got the stream back up?
Yeah, it's back up. We're back up and running, baby. Look at that. Mauricio Lara's got that face that... You know...
Yeah, all right. You say that, but... Would you rather be quietly confident or...
No. I like that face. It just reminds me of, like...
That face, though.
It reminds me of when you're at pre-drinks and someone puts on a song that you didn't expect to go on. You absolutely vibe with it, and you're like, "What a tune!" You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
He's feeling it. That just is a sign that he's feeling it. He's soaking up that hostile atmosphere.
Look, and he's so confident. But
go on.
If he's meant to be, I know Wood is the underdog. But if Lara is meant to be the underdog, right? Then surely he's not meant to be as confident as he is. Do you think he's putting on almost a front? He's putting on a screen so that Wood does, or do you think he is genuinely?
No, I think this 50-50 fight is not just 50-50 in terms of boxing ability. It's 50-50 in terms of they match up. They're equal in every aspect: confidence, mentality. They're not afraid to take a challenge. They're not afraid to be the underdog. Nothing gets to them. Nothing touches them in that aspect. Yeah. And Leigh Wood has the tear that he's gone on. It has to be the absolute, like, he must be in the form and the feeling and the confidence of his life, you know?
Did you just see Brian Clough? Who popped
was he in there? Oh, I like that. That's
Leigh Wood's got Brian Clough. Oh, that is legendary. Leigh Wood and Brian Clough in his intro video.
So the situation is, I'm on 10%, and that is just the worst time to touch 10%.
I've got 22, so I'm doing okay.
So I'm going to go and grab my charger.
Okay, go.
And hook it up to the phone. I'll be right back. I'll be as quick as I can.
Come back.
I hate to leave you again. Babe, I'm so glad that you're a commentator because you're able to keep it going while I go.
You go. And you go. I'll give it a little bit of colour, okay? Go
Mate, I wish I was here to watch the shadow box.
Bro, hurry. All right, Max is off. Max is off to get his charger. Leigh Wood shadow boxing in front of a massive crowd at the Motor Point Arena in Nottingham, in his hometown. And I think that might have been in Nottingham Forest. A bit of music as he's back in the intro as he walks out.
The familiar sounds.
Leigh Wood then. The camera's flashing. This is the biggest night of his life. This is Leigh Wood's biggest night of his life. And he's preparing to take on a complete juggernaut. I mean, he's taking on, he's going into the water. He's taking on a Mexican with just about everything. I'm just saying this is the biggest night of Leigh Wood's life, right?
Oh, it's got to be, mate. It has to be. Easily the biggest fight of this man's life.
I think he looks concentrated. I don't think he looks confident. I think he looks concentrated.
Yeah, and sometimes we're charging.
He's back.
Because I'm charging it from my laptop. We've had a bit. It paused my live there. Hopefully I don't go anywhere now.
Bro, you do not want to move.
No, it's time.
It's gonna go down.
Let's get ready to rumble.
I love David Abernethy, but I miss him a little bit, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, they sometimes bring out Jimmy Lennon Jr., don't they? But I haven't seen Michael Buffer. He's normally on the American ones, isn't he? I haven't been so excited for a fight since Gervonta Davis last month. But that goes to show what massive fights are already being put on this year.
Huge. Boxing is only getting bigger. Let's be real. Boxing is only getting bigger.
People, and normally UFC fans like to shit on it and say that it's getting smaller, but mate,
no way.
You see the fights that are getting put on, and this is the thing. This is the type of fight that is going to hit the mainstream again, where people are going to catch notice of boxing. You know, as I said, these kind of what do they call them? Kind of casual. I hate to use that word, but kind of more casual fans of the sport who don't know these two guys. When they put on such a show tonight, then people will realise. I'm going to say this now, and I bet it's going to get like there's going to be some controversial ass like result now. I'm praying that it doesn't happen because we want some raw action, you know.
Go on. What are you going to say?
I said my piece.
I missed it completely.
Huh?
I missed your piece.
The whole thing.
What did you say?
Ah, man. I was just saying that the casual boxing fan
Oh,
who
yeah.
may not know these two. Yeah,
Right, okay.
they catch wind of this.
Okay.
And then it's the type. I was just saying, I hope that there's no controversial ending or bullshit kind of result.
Right. That's the bit I missed.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I hope it's legitimate from start to finish, and the best man wins, the deserving man wins. You
know what? That's my worry, seriously, because if it's a close fight, Wood wins it. Because
Yeah.
because he's the homeboy, and because of the history you and I both know British boxing has.
Yeah, but it's not just because of, he's the homeboy. It's because he's the champion as well.
Yeah,
you can't go out there and you got to rip it away from the champ. But I think Lara has every single intention to do that. So no, before we get into it, give me your best boxing combo, quick, off the bat. Come on, throw it. I want you to throw it. I want you to show me.
Boom. You want me to throw it? All right. It's got to be the shot that AJ knocked out Klitschko with. Yeah?
Okay.
What was it? Yeah. Right, left upper, left, right upper. Was it right, left upper? Yeah.
Is a jab back out uppercut? Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, boom. Go.
Smashed him, man.
All right, your go. Go on. Let's see it.
I'm a southpaw, so I love the little.
Go on then.
Bam. Throw it. Leigh Wood's got to be showing some of that tonight, baby, just from the
Let's get stuck into it.
But he loves the uppercut as well, man. He throws it. And that's
I love the uppercut. I love when he throws the
all night beforehand. Mate, I'm talking so fast, I'm too excited for this.
Let's go. By the way, Leigh Wood's looking for that. I love that trim.
He loves a perm, doesn't he? And I'm not going to lie.
Look at us with our little
he wishes he had it naturally.
He wishes he had this. Look at him.
He wishes he had this kind of natural thing. He's got to get a perm on.
He wishes he had these curls.
But I wish I had his boxing skills, so it's a give and a take.
I wish I had a six-pack. All right.
Mate.
Oh, we're close now.
I want to turn it up, but my phone is so close to the telly that I don't want any feedback coming in the stream, you know.
How can you hear mine?
Yeah, but it's distant.
Okay, all right, good.
What if I do this?
No, you're good.
Is that okay?
Okay.
That's a good level for me.
I don't know if you're ahead though, so we gotta time this right.
They're facing off now.
Yeah. Fine. We're at the same point.
The ref's calling Lara over to come and face off.
Yeah. We're at the same point.
Just quickly, what's your opinion on Ben Davison? Because he gets a lot of hate, and I think a lot of it's unnecessary. But he's trained exceptional fighters. I think he's one of the best best trainers.
Do you want my opinion? Before Leigh Wood met Ben Davison, who was Leigh Wood?
Do you reckon? Yeah.
No. Tell me honestly, what did you know about Leigh Wood before he got up with Ben Davison?
Yeah. He transformed him. Oh, please.
Woo! Leigh Wood's throwing shapes.
Round one.
Here we go.
Round one. Here we go. Right, straight off the bat. And I don't want to talk all the way over this, but Leigh Wood looks much bigger than Lara, and he looks much more imposing.
Look at the reach Leigh Wood's got as well. This first round is going to be. They're just going to test the waters and feed each other out.
Mate, just remember that the last round one that Leigh Wood had, he got knocked down.
True.
And that's got to be in his mind. Surely he's got to be thinking, I need to be tighter than I was in the Conlan fight.
Maybe, but he would have learned from it.
Yeah, exactly. So he knows he's got to be tighter.
Yeah,
but
sure.
If he's got the reach advantage, that's the problem for Lara, because Lara likes to throw those wild. They're not wild. They're estimated and thrown well and with understanding, but he likes to throw them from range, and that's how he gets his power. If Wood can take that away from him and make him shell up a little more, then he can't execute.
That's what Wood's got to do. Wood's got to stop Lara throwing, but you can see already how Lara's not playing into Leigh Wood's style.
It's that lateral motion from Lara. We've seen it then. He threw the left hook, he leapt in with it, and he didn't stop there. Then he went to throw. He's going with the motion, he leapt in, and then he threw that right upper. You
But
know,
see how loopy the shot was.
It's all rolling with the motions when it comes to Lara. It's all lateral movement. He's doing
he gets so
where
much
his body
loop on the
comes
shot.
from.
Just like like that one, the one he just missed.
Oh, Wood caught him there with a nice left hand, but that was straight. That was straight after Lara caught him with his signature left hand to the body.
Okay, so one to the body, one to the hip.
Nice, yeah, that's one apiece. You know,
1-0.
The problem is this. You know, the commentators and the crowd will both get amped for the shots that Leigh Wood throws.
I know.
So we have to make sure that
we've got to make sure we've got
to try and be as neutral as possible. And
it's so hard. It's so hard to be neutral right now.
We got to give credit to the shots that Lara throws and lands as well, because I know the commentator and the crowds won't be. Neither will the judges, and that's where the problem comes from.
That's where the problem lies. Okay.
That's beautiful from Wood there, because Lara tried to get his left hands in the mix, but look where Wood's hand was straight away.
Look at his left hand defender.
We're fantastic, Caleb. Thank you for asking. We're more than fantastic. We're
good, bro. We're good. Thank you.
February's biggest fight. We're
loving like that.
But look where Leigh Wood's hand was as Lara went to the body, then came over, and it stayed there. That's discipline like no other.
I know. Caleb, we'll sort that out. Don't worry, mate.
What's this? Yeah, sure, mate. As soon as we're done with this show,
after the live
fighting the show, we're on to it.
No problem. So round one. Is there? Did he catch Lara? Oh, sorry. Did Lara catch Wood? With it looks like he's
Is he cutting? Come on,
I think so.
He must have.
I think Wood's cut. I can't see where.
Yeah, he's got the swab on it, mate. He must have.
Yeah. He's cut.
To the point where his coach is not even in the ropes. Ben Davison's talking to him from outside the corner. That you don't. Oh no, he is inside. Sorry, the way that it was, it looked like Davison was actually not even in the corner for a second.
So so round one summary. Wood, Lara caught the body. Wood caught the hip, and Wood.
Here's the replay now. This must be what caught him. It's a head clap.
Okay.
And everyone says that Lara got his cut, and he did get his cut from Warrington headbutting. But look at Lara. Do you know what I mean? He's flying in with his head. We talk about that leaping left hook. If that leads to a.
Stop it!
He made that take, Caleb. That's how you get a follow back. If anyone wants to know,
exactly.
That's how you get a follow
it's
back.
That kind of sweet talk.
Compliments like that. What a man, Caleb. Appreciate you, man.
So Wood's trying to land jabs here. I think
That's a stiff jab from Wood.
Wood's just testing all with jabs.
Lara tried to come over the side there, but he left his head on the centre line, and Wood stopped him in his tracks with that jab.
He's not letting Lara on the inside.
Oof. Mate, from the physical, look, that's huge right hand.
Wood's landed to the face already.
Lara's being dirty there, bringing that glove.
Come on.
Lara was in the clinch and brought the glove up there to ruffle.
Good from Leigh Wood, really good from Leigh Wood.
He's trying to ruffle that Leigh Wood perm there.
Again, Wood's landed again to the face.
Wood's looking sharp, mate.
I don't want to say, Wood started the better fighter.
I don't want to be biased or overexcited here, but Wood is so much sharper, and I think Lara.
I'm telling you,
was expecting this.
Lara's putting on this confident front that isn't there. I'm telling you. Look at that again. Lara swings and misses.
Mate, Wood's just first to the punch, and not just first, but accurate, and he's hitting Lara and he's getting in and out.
Oh, hook from Wood. Max, who's on commentary?
Mike Costello and Andy Lee. You know Andy Lee, right? He was a former super middleweight, cousin to Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
The guys who I do work with at BBTV and Aki Karen, you follow those guys up if you haven't already, guys. He's got a great piece with Andy Lee as well, a great interview with him.
So Lara right now, I mean, how much energy is Lara wasting trying to land? He's unable to. Wood's cutting him off.
I don't know. I think he's being quite conserved. because he's not throwing often. He's throwing hard shots that are going to sap his energy, but he's throwing them rarely. Oh! That staggered Wood.
Woods wobble.
But Wood's clinched up. Wood's done what he's needed to do and he's clinched up. That hurt him.
He's cutting properly. Now Lara's going for it.
Lara's offloading, and this is what he does. That's that killer instinct from Lara.
But you can't let this happen.
That's a huge right hand. Wood needs to change the distance.
Bro. Come on, Wood needs to survive this. That bell came at the right time. At the right time.
He's been saved by the bell there. Mate, and I knew something was coming as soon as Lara landed.
I know.
That first combination to the body, Lara knew where Wood was, and Wood didn't bother changing that, and he was able to just tee off on him from there.
But that's why, yeah, and you're completely right. That's why we need to be like, it's so hard to be down the line neutral in this fight, but we've got to be now. Like, that just goes to show why.
I can't deal with this stuff for another 10 rounds, man. This is already fireworks.
What's around the boxing?
But he looked like he had Lara hurt, you know. But not as much as Lara hurt Wood. Lara hurt Wood the most there.
So Wood's landed 11 and throwing 26. Lara landing 25 and throwing 62.
This is why stats are so funny, because you wouldn't get that impression, would you? Over
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Right, Wood just needs to not. You can't get greedy here. I think.
Well, no, Wood needs to just steady the shit now.
I think Ben Davidson's so good with this advice. He's going to say, listen, you're in a 12-round fight.
Wood
got hurt in that second
calm
round.
Down.
But look what happened last time Wood got hurt early on. He just needs to recover those rounds. And look
we know he's got that heart within him.
Exactly. Lara wasn't even fainting there. He was practicing those shots there, but not even throwing. He's just trying to work out what he could possibly land on Wood. Double jab will force him back onto the ropes is what he needs to throw right now.
The question of what we're watching Leigh Wood versus Mauricio Lara from WBA featherweight world title. The world.
Huge fight, Caleb. If you're not watching it, get on it,
mate. Get on it.
It's huge.
Boxing, yes, mate. Boxing.
Cut him off. Wood needs to come to his right and cut Lara off there. But he's still imposing. He's
my stream's gone. Matt, you're going to have to keep me up to date.
Okay, I'll keep you updated. Okay, Wood's landed a jab. Oh, and he's caught him with a nice hook and followed it up with a nice right hand there. Landed flush on Lara, but Lara's legs are strong and he doesn't look hurt.
I'm back. Thank you.
I got you, mate. I'll throw you in on my gaps.
You got me. You're the commentator galore.
Oof. There were some nasty body shots, bro. Lara's body shots, like his combination punching is so lethal because he goes from the body and goes up to the head and he works up and down.
Lara loves it. Like just no messing around from Lara.
He's savage. Wood can't go soft. Everything he has to throw, he has to make Lara. Oh, and he does that with a beautiful right hand. And another. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy now. That's the main thing.
Go on, Wood. Go on, better.
Mate, this is wow.
This is why we love Leigh Wood. Wow. This is why we love Leigh Wood. If you're not watching this fight, people, get on this fight. Leigh Wood throwing another right.
Caleb, if you can't watch it, we'll stay on the live and we'll try and keep you informed as possible. Ooh. Mate, these exchanges, every time they jump in with punches, you just think something mental is going to happen here. There's so much, like, angst when these guys collide. There's
so much energy in this fight. But
Wood really needs to check that cut. Like he needs to keep that left hand up.
I know. He needs to protect that side of his face.
Because even if he doesn't get hurt or knocked out or whatever in this fight,
there's too much blood. That's it.
The ref can still stop this. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the end of the third right here.
Alright, so you're about 10 seconds ahead of me. So you're at the end of the third.
Yeah. So I've got Wood first and third round, and Lara won the second.
Yeah, I agree with that. Completely agree with that. Hello, Kurt. How you doing, mate? How you well? Kurt, the boy.
Shout out, Kurt.
Big shout out to Kurt. How you well, man?
Kurt Beresford from Derby Uni himself. What a man.
Do you see the right hook from Wood that really lands?
Hey.
Completely
Look,
Lara,
this is what I was saying about the Allington Smith fight. Is you see what Wood did there? He got too close, and Lara spoiled his work. He couldn't. He wasn't in distance to land those shots, and that's exactly what you got to do especially when you're hurt. Come in close, so they can't land flush on you.
I tell you what, if you're at the Nottingham Motorpoint Arena tonight, you are getting your money's worth.
Yeah, I know.
You are getting your money's worth, people.
Unless pints are like £10.
Oh yeah, I mean they will be.
But
I bet there's only prime tonight.
As far as in the ring goes, you're getting your money's worth. Nice double jab from Lara there.
So I don't know if you just heard that, but the message from Ben Davidson is wait for Lara to get reckless. That is exactly what he said before the fight.
And that's what Lara does. But the thing is as well, he looks hurt. He looks wild when he throws, but it's not wild punches. Caleb, I'm sorry, my friend, but it's only me and Noah for tonight. But in future lives, if you want to join them, we'll be happy to add you. But
we'll sort it out. We'll sort it out. Good old Derby Uni, Kurt. Good old Derby Uni.
Mate, can't go wrong with it, can you?
Can't go wrong.
You definitely could. No.
I mean, there's plenty to get wrong with, but...
Mate, what a time, eh? Only met Kurt in third year. You know, we weren't really mingling with a lot of guys from Kurt's course in the football journalism, the football journalists. We didn't see much of until the third year, but shout out them, man. You know, all of us trying to get into this kind of industry.
Hope you're well, man. Hope you're well. So Leigh Wood now.
Oh, man. He's tagged him so hard with that right hand. He just needs to keep finding the distance, and that's a beautiful left hook.
Oh, there you go. I'm about 10 seconds behind that, so I'm seeing everything 10 seconds later.
Shit,
hang on.
Mate, sorry, I'll have to
I'm going to relay my...
Mate, it was beautiful, right? Wood landed the right.
I saw it.
Waiting for Lara to come in. But when he landed the left, this is the main thing as well. He moved his head and Lara couldn't catch him. There was no tick for tack because Wood was already out of there. Mate, my neck hurts.
Bro, my back is like, it needs a cracking.
We need a little shadow box on Zoom after.
We genuinely do.
Oh my god. I always feel like my neck's worse because I'm always looking down at my phone all day, but like, having to have looked up for like a couple of hours is killing me.
I know, mate. I know, honestly. I'm on 12%. I think we're going to have to... someone's going to have to wrap this fight up in the next 12%.
Yeah. Oh. Lara's so nasty with those left hands, bro. He digs them right into the... Oh, mate. That's hurt Lara. Lara backed off there. Lara backed off after that right hand. Wood finding a home for those right punches, those right hands, those straight rights. And that shows you Wood's confidence as well, because... Nice one, Kurt. Thank you, Caleb. Can I please add your number?
All the best, boys. All the best. Thanks, lads. See you soon.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, lads. Cheers.
But this shows Leigh Wood's confidence there, because he tried to throw that right uppercut as well. Genuinely. He hasn't thrown that in those previous rounds. That shows you that, okay, I've got my solid punches down. I'm going to try and mix it up now.
And to see Wood goes towards his corner, a little fist pump to the fans. Wood,
he's loving it.
Right, my stream's got to end. Wood's cut and Wood's hurt, but
he's taking a nasty left hook there, though. The thing is, I'm not trying to be rude, but his nose is quite big, so it's a bit of it's quite a target for Lara. But that's that left hook that I was talking about there.
Listen,
left hook,
big nose.
It caught him a little bit. It did catch him a little bit.
Right, I'm just trying to get back on my stream over in this end of things.
Yeah, let me know, mate.
All right,
but both of them trading left hands there.
All right, we're back. Live.
How dare DAZN do that? Show this fight and then promote a Jake Swingler fight. Strange times, strange times.
So strange times. Right, with 2:55, round 5. I don't know where you're at, but
yeah, I'm 5 seconds ahead of you.
Sick. Okay.
So at least I know when something happens to wait 5 seconds so we can probably
you can give the initial reaction and I can give the secondary reaction.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, can't watch. mate, I'm sorry, right? I've got it the exact same, but Carl Froch, a former British professional fighter from the same city that Leigh Wood is from,
I know. It's
the
most biased punditry ever. It's like when Jermaine Genius talks about Tottenham. That is what it's like.
Yeah, exactly. Like like the thing is, it's different with pundits because like you get like former players of the clubs in, but like when you're trying to score a fight, like you can't have someone a bit more.
No, I know.
Have Andy Lee score a fight, you know?
It's the British. Yeah, but in Mexico, on Mexican TV, it's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah, no, you're spot on there. To be fair, in my opinion, yeah, the best pundit who cares nothing about nationality, nothing, like he doesn't care who the fighter is, where they're from. He literally just sees what they do in the ring and judges them from that. Is Barry Jones, Wales' finest, former world champion.
Was it Barry Jones who called out? Didn't Barry Jones call out the Killer Hands?
Yes, it was. I'm pretty sure it was. I can't. No, that was McGuigan.
I think. Oh, that was McGuigan.
I think Barry Jones must have something to say about it. I mean, he's such a fair thinking guy like that. You'd understand to speak out. That's the kind of guy he is. He's a legend.
This is
he's the most impartial kind of pundit.
This is a tasty fight.
I can't believe we're 5 rounds in. When you're enjoying a fight, like, not to say that we didn't enjoy the Dalton Smith fight, we loved it, but it just seems to happen with main events.
Time flies when you're enjoying. Like,
it goes so fast.
Fights, whatever they are.
We've been on live for 2.5 hours now.
We've been. I know.
That's a change from our usual half hours back in 2020.
We've been live so long. So beautiful. 30 seconds left, mate. Round 5 of 12.
Oh, bro, I love boxing. You see how Leigh Wood fainted that right hand there? So Lara, to get out of the way of it, shifted his head off the centre line and put it in complete...
The speed that these boys are going at right now.
I know, they're going to be so gassed by the time.
Coming down from Wood, oh my God. Wood needs to just stay on his feet and survive this round.
Mate, Leigh Wood's... Oh yeah, he looks knackered, doesn't he? He looks gassed, bro. But they both
Are you seeing what I'm saying? Lara's throwing these shots.
He's swinging for the heavens, man.
Right. Going into round 6, Wood again saved by the bell.
This is insane. This is just insanity. But did you see what Leigh Wood did when Lara was on the ropes there? Feinted that right hand. And then because from the feint, put Lara's head in complete position to land the left hook. And that is just boxing 101. It's fantastic stuff.
Just watching now as Wood catches Lara to the body. And Lara's nodding. Lara's saying, come on, man, give me some.
Boom.
The Leigh Wood.
That's when he said, yeah, mate, you got me good there.
Yeah.
Boom. But that's the thing about Leigh Wood, mate. He doesn't throw single shots. And neither does Lara. Look, both of those, they were throwing one shot after the other within the same motion, Leigh Wood, left into the right. Lara, right to the body, followed up with the left to the head. It's like, that's why these guys are just guaranteed action.
Referees just told Mauricio Lara not to get out of the ring.
Well, was that his coach?
That was his coach.
Yeah, mate, well, that's because he probably went over the minute time of break.
They did.
Yeah, got to get out of there.
Max, how far do you see this fight going now?
I just cannot, mate, I cannot see it going further than 10 rounds. I see this fight
going all the way.
Mate, they're way too knackered. They're in too worse a shape to... Look at their body language at this halfway point. They're going to beat each other up too much to go the distance. It's whoever has... As I said last week, it's whoever has that chin that can hold it up.
They're so evenly matched right now.
That is crazy. You just don't know. You can't predict what's going to happen.
This fight is mental.
Even when they're not punching each other, you can see it's nice. They're trying to measure each other up, and that's what works for Leigh Wood. There, he didn't punch him for 5 seconds because he was lining Lara up.
Wood's going for it. Wood's got him on the ropes here,
and he lined Lara up for that right hand to start that sequence off. And this is what Ben Davison's so good at, is teaching them feints, teaching them what to do when you're not punching your opponent. What else can you be doing? And it's exactly what Leigh Wood's doing. He's making his opponent think.
Wood completely. I mean,
right.
Positioning-wise.
Huh?
I was going to say, positioning-wise, Leigh Wood has been spot on this fight.
He's so imposing, isn't he?
Unbelievably.
He's using that to each one of his advantages.
I mean, he does. I don't want to say towers over Lara, but he's bigger.
But he does. He leans over it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Wood's looking so sharp, bro.
He really
Lara's looking to punch off every time. And this is, when we're talking about restraint, it's a matter of restraining yourself. Don't get greedy. Stick to what you're doing and build on it.
That's it.
Oh, my God. Mate, this... You know how there are 10-8 rounds and a round scored 10-8 if they scored a knockdown? Yeah. If there was a 10-8 round to be scored without a knockdown, it would be a round like this.
It would be this one.
Where he's a punch ahead every time. It's beautiful.
Yes, Leigh.
Leigh's just looking levels above it, but he has to maintain this. Because Lara's not going anywhere.
No, Leigh's controlling this fight.
Oh, Lara did catch him coming in there. And again. That's those last couple of exchanges Lara won. I'm going to head to my fridge.
Okay, go. I don't know if Max is 5 or 10 seconds ahead of me. We're coming right to the end of round 6. Really even round. The Leigh Wood, I think, just edged Lara. Getting in the inside towards the end. But Wood towering over Lara in terms of position and stature.
A big boy fight means a big boy bottle.
What's a big boy? Let me see your big boy bottle.
It's going to be about double the size of yours, mate. It's a 660 mil. It can barely fit the frame.
Oh no! I'm on a little man bottle here, little boy bottle. 3 days.
This right is you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. It's a perfect example.
Fact.
That's Lara catching him there, as Andy Lee said, at the end of the round. That's a solid left hand. And that reminds Wood, I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I've made a WhatsApp group with us.
No worries, Caleb. Okay, mate.
I'm not going to lie, Caleb. I appreciate the kind words and that, but I'm not going to go into a WhatsApp group chat with you. I don't necessarily know you, so...
No, yeah.
Sorry, my friend, but I appreciate the offer, and I appreciate you tuning in to us.
I love it.
Who
doesn't love Moretti?
He loves it.
Stretching away on the scorecard as we move into the second half of the
But you know when we're talking about the body language of Wood, he's doing. I'm not trying to compare him to Canelo, but he's doing that kind of thing with Canelo, how he's feinting and imposing himself on his opponents that without even throwing a punch, they put themselves on the ropes.
And it's just, how is this a guy that 2 or 3 years ago was so bang average? We're now comparing him to Canelo.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, but it's a similarity in their footwork and in their physical stance. They're not the same physically, but pound for pound in their weight division, they both do that. Mate, the only thing, like the money shot I see for Leigh Wood is he's been lining that right hand up. What he needs to do is he's been landing great jabs as well. If he just goes to the body with that jab, because he hasn't necessarily jabbed to the body, Lara will go and defend that. But you still do like...
Yeah, another day.
If he jabs to the body and then comes over the top with the right hand, I don't think Lara would see that coming. I think that'll knock him spark out, mate. Oh no, I mean he's got a hell of a chance. I don't think it'll spark him out, but it will rattle him for sure. It'll be the biggest punch of the fight.
Just gotta wait and see. This is just a crazy fight.
Oh man, I can't believe it.
I mean, I'm just sitting there like, you can't call this fight either way at the moment. This fight is so. If you're just tuning in, we've had a really.
It's everything. Oh, he's caught him there twice. That's the thing, right? Lara, like, even when he's coming off on the back foot and he doesn't necessarily think that he's gonna land the shot, he'll still throw it just in case, and that's exactly what happened with that combination.
Who have you got ahead on points, Matt?
I've got Wood ahead by 4 or 5 rounds. Lara's only won 2 rounds. I've got Wood ahead, but Lara is still sneaking in with those shots, and he landed a great right uppercut.
There you go. He's just unbalanced, Lara. Wood just got him off balance. Oh!
Wood staggered.
He's up. Oh my! He's gonna be saved by the back. Whoa! Oh no! Wait!
The towels come in, ladies and gentlemen. Mauricio Lara,
okay,
in the 7th round, behind on points, has battered Leigh Wood, dropped him, and Ben Davison has thrown the towel in.
Oh okay, right or wrong decision? The right or wrong decision?
I don't know.
Wrong.
Look at
Lara's battered. Lara's all over the place. Lara can't believe it.
Lara was as in a bad spot as Wood was. He just landed the right shot first.
What am I seeing right now?
That is how 50-50 this could be. Would look like he was finally controlling the fight, but because Lara's such a power puncher.
No, but I think Lara's. What did we say there? The first person to hit the canvas loses that fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's going on here? What's going on? Ben Davison's there. Lara's come over.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Wow, mate. Wood was in control.
You can see how much that means to Mauricio Lara.
What have I just seen?
What an upset.
This is why we went live for this fight, because
this is why
we
love
something
boxing.
incredible was going to happen.
This is why we love boxing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mauricio Lara, right decision or not from Leigh Wood's corner.
All right,
Mauricio Lara is now the new WBA featherweight.
Wrong decision for me. I think.
Wrong decision, yeah?
Well, because you look at the Michael Conlan fight. Not the same in terms of...
Mate, but Wood did look in a worse way.
No, that's what I'm saying. Not the same, but look, they're explaining. Look, he's explaining to Wood now. They all explain.
Andy Lee is shocked. He said Lara's out of it.
But can you disagree with Andy Lee?
No, I don't, mate. No, especially because it was coming to the end of the round. Mate, now I'm frustrated because Davison should have taken him in the corner.
That's what I'm saying. We're almost at the end of the round, right? Davison takes him in for a bit of fluid, right? Some wise words, and he goes out in the 8th round.
Take him down, sit him in the corner. You know, there was a few seconds to go in that fight.
I was ready to say the words "saved by the bell."
Yeah. It was almost, you know, it was different to the second round because obviously Wood was knocked down. This is the left hook here.
Well, let's watch it now. So I've got the replay on my screen.
They both load up. But Lara's timing is just
They both
just more of a
Lara got him first. I bet you. Okay, fine. But when did you see when Leigh Wood hits the deck?
But do you see that? Wood tucked in to throw that. He telegraphed that shot, and Lara saw the telegraph because he saw him dip. He saw him dip on his leg to come over. So Lara knew what was coming. So we knew, okay, he's coming in for a left hook. So when I come in, I'm going to time the left hook as he comes in. And it's a perfect shot. It's a fantastic shot.
It's a great look. He's landed it so clean.
Look, he's gone. Do you see where Wood's coming?
I do, and it's such a clean shot.
And then because he's thrown that left hook, he's put all his motion into Lara's shot.
But that's okay. So Andy Lee just said the referee's prepared to let the fight go on.
He was.
So why does Ben Davison throw them out?
But it's early in the round from just that. But before then, Leigh Wood.
Wow.
You've got to give Leigh Wood more of a chance than that, man. Like, I know we were talking about Tunde in the yard fight.
It's different. Leigh Wood, I think, with his history as well, should have been I think he would have gone out in the 8th.
You've seen his recovery skills firsthand, Ben. Why are you going to throw that in? Especially when he's 2 seconds away from going in and recovering for a minute.
So now, I think they all need to have a debrief now where Eddie Hearn says to Ben Davison, what are you doing? Leigh Wood says, I want a rematch. Leigh Wood's shaking his head. Leigh Wood's gutted.
But what Ben Davison has seen that we haven't is how Wood was responding in that corner.
What's Mike Costello saying?
They're talking
plugging
about
AJ. Just plugging
he's promoting the Joshua
Yeah,
Franklin.
just plugging AJ. Wow, I can't believe that. Joshua Franklin's...
Oh, mate, he's gutted, isn't he?
I just can't believe... Yeah, he's crying. Leigh Wood's in bits. And you know what? I feel so bad for
Fair enough, yeah. He's going to be in bits, isn't he?
Well, listen, all I can say is all the reaction will be on our next podcast to this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you've got our initial reaction. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, the reaction here, and we're going to review this fight as well.
Why is Mauricio Lara giving Leigh Wood his sombrero?
That's, mate, hats off, you know? Hats off to him.
Literally. Bro, well, I'm on 4%, so...
Okay.
I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's watched our first live stream back since lockdown. This is why we love boxing. I'm going to go after...
Let David Diamante announce...
Let's see David
champ. Wood isn't even with the ref to...
Yeah, why is it...
Mate, something serious has gone on there. Maybe I don't know if Leigh Wood's in such a state, or he just can't face the music, or he's.
I know. I don't think Leigh Wood is in this. I think Leigh Wood can't face the music.
But there's got to be a reason as to why he's not walked out to go out with the ref there. There's got to be some internal affairs going on.
Maybe it's just like Anthony Joshua against Usyk, and Usyk couldn't face it. He still went for the final bit, but he threw the belt to Usyk, didn't he? Maybe it is just...
Mate, that is just wow. I mean, I knew he was going to cause some mayhem this fight, but I did not see a corner stoppage at any time. I did it's suspect timing from Ben Davison at the end of the day, isn't it? Given the circumstances, this is Leigh Wood's career on the line.
What are you trying to say?
I think it's too impulsive. I think it's too impulsive from Ben Davison there. That's the main thing.
Listen, Ben Davison, this press conference is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, and I'm going to watch it after, and you know, we'll add our comments in our next actual episode after this gets posted, when we review this fight. We'll have a look at what they say in the press conference. And
Leigh Wood's clapping his fan, and look.
It's nice to see him embrace Lara and then to actually embrace after that fight, because it was just a enthralling fight. But maybe, mate, this press conference and in the days to come, we have a bit more context as to what happened and why.
We need some. We need look. Ben Davison has lost a lot to answer for, and Leigh Wood. I feel so bad for Leigh Wood because he was caught out. That's
his career on the line, man. You got to give him every chance. And it wasn't unnecessary damage, like Billy Hamilton. I know. Okay, we got post-fight interviews, but no, I understand you're on low percentage, so we're going to wrap it up there.
3%. 2
hours and 40 minutes on a live used to be half hours. We've come a long way.
We've done well. Listen, thank you so much, guys, for watching.
It was a tough fight, wasn't it? A very
just hearing Mauricio Lara now talking to Adi on Tivo.
But you landed a wonderful left hook. Talk to us about that punch.
They're going to be translating, but...
Okay, so the translation, the essence is a brilliant fight, a brilliant night of boxing.
And fantastic card, you know.
A brilliant card. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, for enjoying the banter, for commenting, and we'll do more of these.
Beers, boxing, banter, breakdowns, mate, you can't beat it, can you? Yeah, and as Noah said, we'll definitely look to wheel more of these lives out when these great British boxing fights come around. So stay tuned for that, guys. We appreciate everything. Noah, happy birthday to you yesterday, my friend.
Thank you, mate.
Can't wait to record the next episode, and I'll speak to you soon. And we'll see you soon, guys.
Bye. See you later.